Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have trusted Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years. Just tell Progressive what you want to pay, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Visit Progressive.com to find a car insurance rate that works for you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Why have I asked my electrician I found on Angie.com to bury my pet hamster? I was so moved by how carefully he buried my electrical wires, I knew I could trust him to bury my sweet nibbles after his untimely end.
This is very strange.
Angie, the one you trust to find the ones you trust. Find pros for all your home projects at Angie.com.
There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast.
On the left. That's when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
So many different examples of British people trying to explain what happened to them as a child. It's just really getting past me, man. I'm over it a bit.
It's all over it.
It's just like people just going like, and then he came in and he gave a teetle-toddler to my jumblers. Yeah. And I'm like trying not to smile.
Your problem is with the slang? Is it the slang's too cute?
He came in, he gave a little wibble-wobble to my manglers.
Yeah, man. I watched the TV show, the Netflix show, the Louis Theroux doc, another doc, an interview, and then I was going to put on something else, and I was like, you know what? No.
It's extremely sad shit. And every single time.
Think it's going to change?
No. And every time it's just been like, and that's when he gave my Winky a bit of an institutional handshake. It's like, I'm just fucking sick of this shit, dude.
Or you rather just be like, he handled my penis. Is that what you want?
It does sound a little better.
I guess so, yeah.
It helps me. Then it's not all just like, me tiddlywinks. I'll get a bit of a scritchity scratch.
Welcome to the last podcast on the left. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Marcus Parks. I'm here with the linguistic police, Henry Zabrowski.
Just like, it's just hard because I'm hardwired to find the very nice UK accent and British accents to be silly.
Yeah, silly and charming.
Yes.
Yeah. Austin Powers did that to all of us.
It did.
Yeah. And of course, we have the man who has seen enough, perhaps too much, Ted Larson.
Yes. I don't want 2 lumps. I want none. No lumps.
No lumps. Me mangle bits. I'm getting me toddlers jumped.
And here we are at the conclusion. Part 3 of Jimmy Savile, the second head on the Mount Rushmore of evil, is about to get its last little pink. Pink, pink. That's me.
Oh, yeah.
Pink, pink,
Yeah.
pink, pink, pink.
And there's the little penis. Excellent. Done. Ding, 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 ding. Ah, yes. Adidas stripes. Knocked out.
The Mount Rushmore of evil should just be their asses. Though.
Yeah. No, just the taint.
Yeah.
If there was one thing that they had the same of, Himmler and Jimmy Savile's butt. I bet you couldn't tell the difference between the two.
Oh,
if they were bent over, you would not be able to tell the difference.
I have a small ass. You have a small ass. They have negative ass.
Well, yeah, truly incredibly white. Incredibly white.
Yes, indeed.
Elmer's glue in the pants.
So when we last left Jimmy Savile, the year was 1973. And since Jimmy's age was starting to show, the music...
All the leaves are brown. All the leaves are brown. Sorry, I was providing a soundtrack.
You're about 5 years too late on California Dreamin'. The music scene that had produced the Beatles and the Rolling Stones in the 1960s, that was no longer providing Jimmy Savile with a steady stream of vulnerable teenage girls to manipulate and abuse. So when Jimmy began reaching middle age, he fully embedded himself into various National Health Service facilities like Broadmoor Psychiatric Hospital and Stoke Mandeville Hospital for Spinal Injuries. It was, of course, under the guise of charity, but Savile's real purpose was the farming of these institutions for victims. But as far as the people of England were concerned, Jimmy Savile was the most charitable man in the country, a person who devoted his every spare moment to helping the less fortunate, even if he was sometimes a little grumpy about doing it. The grumpiness, however, was just a part of his northern charm, and the people loved him for it.
Yeah, he liked the spinal injury place. He was stoked when he got the job.
Cute. That's a cute joke about pressing yourself against somebody you can't move. And I think that's nice. It's nice to see that you can still make poetry out of it.
I'm just glad they were finally pulling the cord on this.
Yeah, wow. But they didn't, and that's the problem.
Well, Savile also had the sympathy of the nation in 1973 because his mother, the Duchess, had just died. And Savile had milked his mother's death by very visibly sitting with her corpse in repose for 5 days straight. Now, the nation became invested in the death of the Duchess, not just because of the weirdness of the situation, but also because Jimmy Savile was one of the BBC's top personalities by 1973. Besides his rotating Top of the Pops hosting gig on television, Savile was also hosting 2 shows on BBC Radio 1, a travel show, Savile's Travels, and a chat show, Speakeasy. Because of Jimmy's constant presence on the airwaves, the people of England felt like they, quote-unquote, knew Jimmy by the early 70s. Ironically, considering his appearance and his demeanor, Savile had become a comforting presence to the people of England, a symbol of altruism, charity, and working-class success.
They also have they're a nation of celebrating eccentrics.
Yes, they are. Yeah. And Jimmy Savile was the gruff Yorkshire clown. He was the man who swooped in with his God-given gifts of gab to make everything all better when someone had a problem. But while he would usually rape or abuse someone in the process of said swooping, his celebrity and reputation ensured that his crimes went unreported or uninvestigated.
I think swooping encapsulates that.
Swooping? No, he's a swooper.
Oh, he's a swooper.
Yeah. Police all over England had been getting reports on Jimmy Savile for decades by this point, and they had done nothing. But they weren't the only ones in the UK who actively hampered any opportunity to stop Jimmy Savile. The other organization at fault here was the BBC. They'd had knowledge of Savile's crimes since Top of the Pops began in 1964. They knew that Savile was a creep when they hired him for Top of the Pops. But since ratings trumped every other concern, the brass at the BBC decided to once again ignore Savile's crimes when they offered him his biggest opportunity yet, a decade after hiring him. Even after seeing what Jimmy Savile was capable of, both in the halls of the BBC and out on the road in his caravan, the BBC still gave Savile his own television show, a show centered around children, no less. And they premiered that show, Jim'll Fix It, on May 31st, 1975. With the BBC's full support, Jim'll Fix It solidified Jimmy Savile's transition from counterculture weirdo into an older, familiar, uncle-like figure in British society, which, of course, gave Savile even more opportunity to hide his monstrous habits in plain sight.
Swoop, there it is.
Well, there's another little swoop. He's a regular little flying squirrel. But this is, I actually kind of wonder if it's an interior, almost like from BBC, because what we'll know for after the fact, Operation U-Tree, there's quite a bit of pedophile activity happening at BBC all over the fucking building.
Very much so.
I actually wonder almost if it's a unconscious thing of pairing him with something that'll almost be like, this'll almost keep him honest. That if we put him on television with all these kids, there's no way he'll continue to do whatever it was that he was doing.
I don't think they even thought about it at all. Yeah. I really don't think they did. Yeah. I think that it was just, that's a part, like, any sort of like pedophilia, sexual assault, anything like that was just
icky and dumb and outside the door.
Well, it's just a part of the culture. That's just what boys do. It didn't even factor into the types of jobs that they would give him, because if his behavior factored into the types of jobs they gave him, they wouldn't have given him a fucking travel show in which he had a rape van that was ready to be parked anywhere in England.
But the thing is, he already had the rape van, and they didn't have to buy that. And I think that
it does help.
Networks love that.
All you need is a tape recorder.
You know what they call it?
No
literally, it's the tires model.
Now, the concept of Jim'll Fix It was that every week, Jimmy Savile would grant the wishes of children who expressed their deepest desires in adorable letters. Jimmy would read a letter aloud on the show, then fix the wish either in the BBC studios or on location, depending on the request.
British children always sound ancient and haunted. Yeah. I don't like that show because it's all just being like,
"Yes, Jimmy, please let me."
say the moon. And it's just like, I hate all. Put them back in the wardrobe.
How do they all look sicker than Make-A-Wish kids?
I don't know. Oh, Jimmy, dearest, I want to be a pencil.
All right.
Put in the chipper. Well, for example, a kid might want something super simple on Jim Will Fix It. They might say like, I want to pet a camel.
All right.
And so they take him to the zoo, and he pets a camel.
You want camel? Oh, what? Is that what you want in it? Ain't it? That's what you like? I got a fucking pile of camels.
Unfortunately, he got a couple humps as well.
Oh, Eddie, you're so much fun.
I'm doing what I can.
No. This ain't a camel. This is Billy the camel. We just call him Billy the camel because he don't piss never.
And guess what? That's what all he does is drunk.
Yeah, certainly don't spit.
Kid
My piss comes out as tears. That's what the doctor said. Oh, I wonder how you doing, are there, child?
Oh, piss ass, Campbell.
Kid might want to meet a celebrity. That's super easy. You call up a celebrity, find a day he's free, and you just set up a meeting, and they have a fun day together. But the wishes, they could also get complicated. One time a troop of Cub Scouts said that they wanted to eat lunch on a roller coaster. That was a very popular episode. Another time, a kid got to appear as a guest star on an episode of Doctor Who.
I mean, that's fucking, some of these are better than others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eating lunch on a roller coaster is the fucking dumbest shit I've ever heard.
It's really
Getting
dumb.
a guest star on the biggest show in the fucking BBC.
Yeah.
That's a smart child.
Also, I really think they should change the name to Dr. Wen.
Yeah.
Dr. How? Whatever.
Sure, Eddie. Sure.
Let him have it. He's never been. They won't let him back in London. They're not going to let him back.
I want more blood meat.
Can you put more blood and make it grainy and put it in a casing and then feed it to me?
My friend would like some more blood if we could. Oh, you're so white, though.
There was some cool music ones, like kid got to play drums with Adam and the Ants.
Yeah, it's
One
cool.
time they played Kings of the Welcome Frontier. One kid got to be the guitar tech for Iron Maiden for a day.
See, it's fucking awesome.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Didn't one of them be a hamster?
One of them, they wanted to be a rat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they wanted to be a rat, and they just sort of
Put him
wandered.
in a cage, yeah.
No, they dressed him as a rat and then let them wander around the studio in total silence.
I want to kill 1/3 of the population.
Right this way, Come on, right now, up, right, left, right, let's go. Hop a minute.
But, I mean, usually the wishes were fairly low-lift, and the show depended mostly on the adorability of the children being filmed. But regardless of the wish, the kid would always receive a big medal at the end of the segment that said, "Jim fixed it for me." And I looked on eBay, and unfortunately there are no... Every once in a while, the Jim Will Fix It medal will show up on eBay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the only thing I could find was a life-size cardboard cutout of Jimmy Savile that was made to order that cost $180.
Well, you might
Free shipping, though.
You might be surprised what's headed towards the office.
That's great. We'll put it in the bathroom.
I just want to you know what it is? You know what we should use it for? Is that if anybody does, like, let's say they make a mistake or something, they do something, they have to sit with the Jimmy Savile thing in the office.
Yeah.
They have to sit with it. Yeah.
It has to be next to their office, next to their desk for an indeterminate period of time, depending on the severity of the transgression.
Exactly.
Now, the big difference in Jimmy's career shift was that instead of being surrounded by teenagers like he was on Top of the Pops, Jimmy Savile was now dealing almost exclusively with children. And while I know I said that Jim Will Fix It was not necessarily his pedophile highway, Savile, of course, couldn't help himself. There are allegations that Jimmy Savile sexually abused some of the children who appeared on his show, and there were even allegations that Jimmy Savile may have devised certain so-called fixes specifically to create situations where he would have access to victims. But for the most part, Jimmy Savile usually wasn't involved in the fix unless the child specifically requested, I want Jimmy Savile to do this with me. I want to go on a roller coaster with Jimmy Savile. I want to, ride in a fast car with Jimmy Savile, so on and so forth. Because even before Jimmy Savile was given the show, he had already openly and clearly said in public, I hate children. He said he hated children. In fact, Savile was the second choice as host for this program. But even though Savile regularly referred to children as brats, he recognized how good of a smokescreen a show like this could be. People could watch Jim'll Fix It and say, look, don't even like kids, still making a time to make them happy. As a good man, we can all look up to him. Look at
Jimmy,
him.
that's exactly who I suspect. You know what I mean? I feel like it's somebody that likes kids, would want to do things for kids. When I see a guy saying how much he hates kids, but then all he does is hang around kids, it's starting to make me think, I think that you want me to think that you hate kids because you fuck kids.
I really don't like kids, but I got to hang out with them all the time.
You have to hang out with them. That's the difference.
That is
He's
the difference.
choosing to hang out with them monetized in a way at his work. I don't like children, but but it's not, I don't hate children.
I'm fine with children.
I'm fine with children.
I'm fine with children.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, kids are great. I worked at a daycare for a little while in college.
Yeah, I'm fine with kids. I just don't like them when I'm on vacation or when I'm at the gym.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or like when I'm places.
Yeah, they're like cops. It's just better when they're not around.
Yeah. But it's good to know that they're there.
But as Jimmy Savile, very unfortunately, almost always was, he was completely correct in his assumption. Jim'll Fix It was incredibly popular, and the show went on to become a staple of British pop culture for almost 20 years. But as Savile was often fond of doing, he left clues concerning his true intent and motivation. In the title sequence of Jim'll Fix It, Savile led a train of children in the style of the Pied Piper. This, of course, was a reference to the old fable involving a rat catcher who lured children away from their village and their parents with his magical flute. And those children, of course, were never seen again.
I'd probably call it a little piccolo.
Call a little piccolo?
Yeah, no, I don't think he's got that long of a penis.
No, he does not. No, he had, I think, famously a very small and extraordinarily smelly penis.
Man, that
which
rat-
was smelly on purpose.
Thank you.
That rat child didn't have a chance.
No, man. No. So I was looking right here. Kids Say the Darndest Things by Bill Cosby started in 1997, so maybe it was sort of even kind of like that took a while, I guess.
And that is, and that's the incredible thing is that both Bill Cosby and Jimmy Savile had shows that depended on kids just being adorable.
I got my eye on you, Jeff Foxworthy.
We all know. And just
smarter than a fifth grader?
You might be a pedophile.
here's your sign.
Now, while Jim'll Fix It was not his main pipeline for victims, Savile certainly invited his pedophile friends around to play whenever he could. Novelty musician Rolf Harris, often called the Jimmy Savile of Australia, appeared on an episode of Jim'll Fix It in 1976. That was the guy who wrote Tie Me Kangaroo Down Sport.
And that was the one where he gives the kid over to he gives him over to her, right? And he's like, oh, thank God you're giving me this kid to have in my hands. I can't believe you're giving me this kid. And Jimmy Savile's like, it'll only happen here and when I can give him to you.
Yeah, the infamous Gary Glitter.
Yeah.
Also made several appearances on Jim'll Fix It.
He really just loved him.
But perhaps the greatest villain to ever appear on Jim'll Fix It was a woman who, in 1976, was already campaigning for the spot of Prime Minister as the leader of Britain's Conservative Party, although she would not make Prime Minister until 1980. See, it may not surprise you to find out that Jimmy Savile was a staunch conservative, and he had completely fallen for this particular woman's politics after he saw her speak at a young conservative conference. That woman was the great villain of 1980s England, the UK's Ronald Reagan. I'm speaking, of course, about Margaret Thatcher.
No,
She was actually a better actor than Reagan.
she honestly was an interesting watch. I will say, truly, I had I've always heard about Margaret Thatcher, and I kind of it was at a time where, especially now, I'm trying to be more abreast of what's happening in the world and in history. And I finally watched Margaret Thatcher. I watched her talk, and she really is a dynamic speaker.
Very much so.
She was a dynamic speaker, but what an evil fucking cunt.
Yeah.
I didn't fully understand how directly evil
Yeah.
She was.
And gleefully evil.
Very much so. And
Yeah.
I feel like it all, like Jimmy Savile just saw a counterpart.
Yeah, I mean, at least Ronald Reagan tried to hide his evil
With
in
folksiness.
folksiness and charm and all that because he has to. He's American. But
Yeah.
man, the British, when Margaret Thatcher came along and just fucking wanted to be as cruel and cold as possible, they were like,
She has that absolutely wonderful aristocratic voice.
Yeah.
But she comes in and she can redo the filth the easiest way possible with a huge horse-like teeth. Iron pants.
let me cross your wires a little bit. Did you see Gillian Anderson's portrayal of Margaret Thatcher in The Crown?
Yes, but
Because I know you have
me.
I know you have a thing for Gillian Anderson.
Well, of course, but Gillian Anderson, she can do that. But yeah, and if she wanted to do that, like, in my home with me, like, that would be fine. You know what I mean? If she wanted to act like Margaret Thatcher, and then I'd be like a corgi?
Yeah. If she came into your home and did that, they'd have to call that show The Frown.
She came in and was just like, it's time to have a treat. It's time. I'm all chuffed that I have more corgis in. And I come and wagging my little tail, and then she puts peanut butter all over her.
Okay, so you're crossing the streams a little bit with the Queen and Thatcher.
I don't know what she had. I don't know what pet she had. Or what she had. Butler. That's my dearest butler.
I watched The Iron Lady just to learn a little bit about Margaret Thatcher for this.
Yeah.
And what a pointless movie.
Yeah.
What an utterly pointless, just her like hallucinating her dead husband. And it was like just hardly any politics in this.
Yeah.
Well, that's the idea. They were trying to get behind the politics and get to the woman.
Yeah.
Eddie, get to the body, get her a body, get under the clothes.
Uh-oh.
I'm just saying. They were trying to get in there.
You're trying to make her Margaret Snatcher.
Whoa, that's certainly no way. My vagina was born smooth as an egg.
The one thing that people don't know about me is I actually have a cloaca.
Did you know there's one O? I don't need two holes. I have one O in order to evacuate my bowels. That's great.
This is fun.
That's fucking. I love fucking
Finally.
accent work, man.
Yeah.
Fuck
No.
all this shit. The first few weeks back at school set the tone for the rest of the year. iExcel helps kids build confidence and get up to speed fast. iExcel is an award-winning learning platform that helps kids truly understand what they're learning, whether they're building math confidence, strengthening reading and writing skills, or reviewing science concepts. We know our little Carmelita is doing extremely well in chemistry, to the point where we're almost concerned. Her experiments are taking her to the edge of knowledge and bringing her to questions of not whether she can do what she wants to do, but whether she should. And Wendy's learning a lot about the Civil War. And from pre-K through 12th grade, iExcel offers personalized interactive learning that adapts to each child's level and pace. Like it balances Wendy's love of chicken with her love of the Civil War. But it's still wonderful what iExcel helps her to get leaps and bounds beyond the other children at school. iExcel is used in 96 of the top 100 school districts in the United States. 96 of the top 100! Studies show kids who use iExcel score higher on tests, and also higher on whether or not they're going to get any snackies after their main dinner. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get iExcel now. And Last Podcast on the Left listeners can get exclusive 20% off iExcel membership when they sign up today at iexl.com/left. Visit iexl.com/left to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price. Summer means freedom. And for adults, summer means work next to freedom. But thanks to Mint Mobile's summer sale, it can almost feel like the work is playtime for the adults. Right now, all of Mint's plans are $15 per month, even unlimited. Free yourself from big wireless and switch to Mint Mobile for high-speed data and coverage on the T-Mobile 5G network. It's so well connected, I could call from anywhere. Deep from well within my bunker, where my AI-fueled robots slowly but surely toil for me, but I know for a fact I'm saving money on my phone plan. Or up above, where I'm training all of my giant Amazon female warriors who will fight in bulletproof mesh. Also, honestly, Mint Mobile's really cheap and it's really reliable, so you should use it. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/LPOTL. That's mintmobile.com/LPOTL. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/LPOTL. That's it. There's no catch. Upfront payment of $45 per 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12 months. Plan required, $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. Includes up to 20 gigabyte hotspot. Capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com. You tired of spending way too much time trying to figure out your finances? Welcome to the club. Rocket Money makes it easy. Like Sunday morning. With Rocket Money, you can track subscriptions and have the ability to cancel unwanted ones in just a few taps. You know how many times I subscribed to mustard clubs? Those mustards, they are not cheap. You can set budgets and goals, get personalized insights and regular reports, and receive real-time alerts for large transactions, upcoming bills, refunds, and low balances, all in the Rocket Money app. Why don't you get yourself some ketchup, some relish, with all that money you're saving? Maybe a hot dog, if you got a death wish. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals easier. Join at rocketmoney.com/LPOTL. That's rocketmoney.com/LPOTL. rocketmoney.com/LPOTL.
Rise from your grave.
No, when Jimmy Savile saw Margaret Thatcher speak at the Young Conservative Conference, he made a big show of clearing the way so Thatcher could go to bed after her speech that night. Clear the way, clear the way. Important woman coming through.
And there's something that reminds me to this day of conservatives, of this idea of like, he did that. He like went out of his way to do this sort of like public thing for me.
Oh yeah, well at their core, most conservatives are submissives.
Yes.
Like they're subs. They love, like especially the leaders. They love when people show deference to them, when people brown nose them, when they kiss their ass, and in turn, the underlings love to show deference to people in position of authority. That's what it's all about. It's all about submission.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're like a big old daddy.
Yeah,
or her fucking big old cunny mommy.
Yeah. Well, this impressive display of brown nosing endeared Savile to Margaret Thatcher. So she agreed to do an interview with Jimmy Savile on his BBC radio talk show, Speakeasy. The two of them got along like a house on fire. And thereafter, they began a long and close friendship that lasted for decades. After Speakeasy, Jimmy Savile hosted a visit to Stoke Mandeville with Margaret Thatcher. Of course, this was one of the hospitals where Jimmy Savile regularly assaulted patients who were paralyzed, underage, or both. But Margaret Thatcher had a grand time hanging out with Jimmy Savile, and she soon after appeared on Jim'll Fix It in a joke segment where she asked Savile to fix it so she could become prime minister.
Oh, that's simply the living end!
Now, Savile was, of course, not the deciding factor in Margaret Thatcher becoming prime minister, nor was he fully responsible for Margaret Thatcher's 11-year reign, in which she reshaped England into a cold, cruel image of herself. He did, however, help Thatcher in her rise to power, and while this certainly gave Savile even more protection than he already had, he also came to play an important role in the public perception of Margaret Thatcher's administration as the years went by. See, Savile was the supposed working-class man. He's the former coal mine and Bevan boy. And even though Thatcher's policies were straight-up hateful toward the working poor of Britain, and particularly hateful towards coal miners,
oh, yes,
she could always bring Jimmy Savile around to tell the people of Great Britain their suffering was actually a good thing, and they might even deserve it.
And he was barely even anything but a presenter his whole fucking life.
Yeah.
He never had he worked a working class job then, but he'd been a fucking TV presenter for like 30 years at this point.
And before that, he was a fucking criminal.
Yeah, you're just like you're not the working class man, which is another thing we're seeing. It's just it's grifters working with grifters.
Yep.
Didn't they actually fire Margaret Thatcher from being prime minister?
I mean, that happens all the time. I mean, they've had how many prime ministers in the last 8 months? 12.
That's a good point.
Her tits quit. That was the main thing. Their tits quit first. They were like, we are out of here.
Yeah, not Elizabeth Hurley. Hers won't.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, wow.
Well, additionally, Jimmy Savile's charity work could be used by Margaret Thatcher as an example of why the government didn't need to help its people. Thatcher's views, you see, were very closely aligned with the fuck you, I got mine attitude that we see in today's politics. In fact, Margaret Thatcher is one of the authors of that particular doctrine. But according to Margaret Thatcher, you didn't really need to worry about the government coming in to help you. You didn't need to depend on the government for anything because private citizens, like my good friend, Jimmy Savile.
Yeah.
He's always there to help.
And
you can depend on Jimmy Savile.
It's fascinating because it all works hand in hand. It's like they all were working together in this like perfect way of creating this environment of essentially every single human being's on their own.
Yeah.
And he's right there. Like being like, yep, because he already got his too.
Yeah, of course. No, every single human being's on their own, and it's the sort of like divide and conquer thing, because if you make every single human being on their own, they are very easy to control and very easy to rule.
Because they don't want to get together.
Yeah.
You're basically telling them that there's no point to all of you getting together.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's all about control, because with Jimmy Savile, even he benefits from that sort of system where everyone's on their own, because if you're on your own, there ain't nobody there to protect you, and Jimmy Savile can swoop in and fuck you up.
Oh, yeah, and then the lower class you are, and the lower of whatever the rung it is, like whatever caste is, the even more subject to whatever the upper classes that they want to do to you is all completely considered. That's the pecking order.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Mm-hmm. So you have slid to the bottom, unfortunately, which means I get to rape all of you with impunity.
Yes.
Anyone with power he cozied up to.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Because he couldn't rape them. Yeah. Like literally, because he couldn't do the other.
Yeah,
he had to become the sycophant and the mirror to them in order for them to feel okay with him being around them.
Yeah, because if I'm friends with you, I can't do that horrible thing.
Yes, but also because I don't do horrible things because I'm friends with you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, every single person in Jimmy Savile came into contact with, his first question was always, how can I use this person? And if he couldn't use them, then he had no use. Then he wouldn't be around them. He wouldn't bring them into his inner circle.
And that's why Thatcher loved him. Yeah. Because she was there to use him.
Yep. Now, the great irony here is that Jimmy Savile, the so-called altruistic private citizen, was effectively acting as the boogeyman of the British government's National Health Services.
And he did it fucking because they already have a lot of other boogeymen, like cancer and like so many other things are the boogeymen of the National Health.
Was a big one at the time.
You know, polio, like all these things. Those are the real that you'd think would be the main enemy of the hospital.
Yep. Mouth jaundice.
Yes, big one. Kids hate mouth jaundice.
And this, of course, was while Margaret Thatcher was using Jimmy Savile as an example of how the British were perfectly capable of taking care of each other without governmental help. See, by the mid-1970s, Jimmy Savile had become a recurring nightmare within the NHS system, a monster who could appear at any moment to sexually abuse and psychologically destroy any young girl in the NHS's care. For example, in 1977, a 12-year-old girl was sent to Stoke Mandeville Hospital for the simple procedure of having her tonsils removed. No spinal injuries, no debilitating conditions, just routine surgery. Because the spinal part of the hospital, that was just part of Stoke Mandeville. But Stoke Mandeville is like a massive hospital.
It's a huge complex.
Yeah, it's a big complex. I think it's Birmingham. But after the procedure, the girl was put in the geriatric ward because the children's ward was full. And that's where Jimmy Savile, at 51 years old, found her alone and vulnerable. Draped in gold chains, dressed in a tracksuit, and chomping on his trademark cigar, Jimmy Savile approached the 12-year-old and positioned himself between her legs without saying a word. Later, the girl said that Savile had a distinctive, muggy odor as he approached, and the smell only got worse when he pulled down his track pants. Savile then raped the girl and ejaculated on her thighs within moments. He then wiped up his semen and left, all completely silent, except for a few grunts and moans, as if the girl were simply an object that existed solely for his pleasure.
Marcus, that was gross.
Yeah.
And I hate you.
It's fine. It's fine. I understand. If I were to read those two paragraphs and someone were to look at me and say, Marcus, I love you.
Yeah.
Like, I'd say never talk to me ever again.
Yeah, I hate to break the mystery of what we do here, but like Marcus sends us his scripts and he puts the little breaks in there for when he wants us to like yell at him, and he put one there, and it's just like, no, I got nothing to say. I got nothing to fucking say to that.
It's a suggestion for if you might want to say something.
Googity googity goo.
I didn't think.
Is that good?
No.
Do you want me to go goo 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 goo? Goo goes the goo.
I thought that perhaps someone might want to comment on the smell of his penis and how he had purposefully made his groin smell horrible in order to make things that much worse for his victims, or at least that's my personal theory.
Yeah, I mean, and I just make my smell for me.
You were wrong.
I'm my own victim. Googity googity goo 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 goo.
Now,
Continue.
I mean, it's not over.
No,
The story
I know.
The story is not over.
Oh no, it's only good. It continues to get worse. Yep.
When the staff came around to check on the girl who just had her tonsils out, she immediately told them that one of the porters had hurt her and pointed to her groin. This girl had no idea who Jimmy Savile was. She just knew that someone on the staff had done something wrong. But the staff member knew exactly who the girl was talking about when she said that a porter hurt her. And therefore, she told the girl to not say anything about it. Because if she did, the staff member might get into trouble. Not the man who did the crime, but the staff member. And while that's certainly bad enough, it wasn't the end of it. Hours later, Savile returned to the 12-year-old girl, and after she pulled her sheets over her head in fear, Savile again wordlessly reached under the sheets and penetrated the girl's vagina with his fingers. Then again, just walked away, didn't say a word. The girl then watched as Savile walked to the bed of an unconscious elderly woman. They're in the geriatric ward, after all. And there, Savile climbed on top and laid over the old woman's body. And at that point, a nurse walked in and told Jimmy that he shouldn't be in there. Like Savile was a child. She was just shooing out of the kitchen. Jimmy, you're not supposed to be in here.
Sorry.
Yeah. And seemingly very used to this sort of situation, Savile just popped off the old lady and walked away. And the girl only recognized her rapist sometime later when she saw Jimmy Savile on the BBC.
And unfortunately, that was the first time anybody ever planked. Yeah. And it's another horrific thing that now we see the seedy beginnings of what would be considered to be an innocent fad.
Yeah, gym culture can really get upsetting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy Savile culture.
Yeah.
Now, this story makes it sound like the staff at these hospitals were fully complicit in Jimmy Savile's crimes, but it was far more complicated than that. Staff raised concerns about Jimmy Savile to their superiors again and again over the decades, but their concerns were always just waved away.
Jimmy Savile's very presence put the entire place in jeopardy.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it kind of feels like a ghost, like an evil entity arrives. And yes, they all know that it's there, but they know to extricate him would bring the whole fucking hospital down.
Well, because they would make no money.
Yeah,
He's the only one bringing them money.
Dude, it's not even that. It's just
like your
once,
fundraiser is Skeletor.
No, but there were other fundraisers. It's the fact that you let him in. He just is now in. No one's correcting him because everybody's afraid. And then once you're past that first lip of all of these like things that he's doing, you're now culpable.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're culpable. I mean, the way I see it is like Jimmy Savile became almost like a workplace hazard.
Yeah, he's like a cancer. He's
it was something that people had to deal with, and it's almost like an entire hospital is just full of asbestos, and you got to do your best to not let the asbestos into the lungs of the patients, but it's going to get in there. But if you get rid of the asbestos, you have to get rid of the whole fucking hospital.
Yes, exactly. You literally have to like detonate the hospital.
Yeah. Also, it's just like when you say something, you're like, oh, you've been seeing this for years. Why are you just saying something now?
Exactly.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Exactly. No, he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what to do.
Yeah. But the authorities told the staff and told themselves that since Jimmy Savile was so high profile, he must be okay.
He has to be
Yeah,
okay.
there's no way that this guy's doing anything irregular. So it would be best if the staff just forgot about whatever it was that they thought they saw. Well, as such, as I said, the staff at Stoke Mandeville had to treat Jimmy Savile as a work hazard, even when they themselves became patients. One nurse recovering from her own spinal surgery, for example, told another nurse that if she saw Jimmy Savile come anywhere near her during her recovery, she'd, quote, scream the place down. The other nurse, however, just shrugged at this comment and walked away, because everyone at Stoke Mandeville believed that there was nothing they could do about Jimmy Savile besides endure and, of course, do their best to protect patients however they could. God, and Stoke Mandeville's fucking huge.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so it's hard.
like Cedars-Sinai. It's huge.
And
It's
remember,
multiple buildings. There's a huge campus. It's gigantic. It's like a college.
and he has keys, and he can show up anytime he wants. You may not like, that's the thing. Jimmy Savile might be in the hospital for a week and you might never see him.
He has like an office and an apartment and a rape van.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, it is like there's multiple places for him to go and abuse people.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
it's all over the place. And all you have to do to get yourself completely not involved at all is just to not look. And I think that's a part of it, is that it's so fucking big and bad. And it's this thing you don't want to look under. You don't want to look under that lid.
Yeah.
Because the second you pop the lid, all of the shit comes out of it.
And Savile didn't keep his molestations to just the hospital rooms, nor his office, nor his caravan. One girl said that Savile groped her repeatedly over a 3-year period in a little room within the hospital's chapel, because that's where the girl attended mass starting at the age of 7. She said that Savile would leave the door where he committed his crimes open during the molestation, specifically so he could watch the priest lead services while he assaulted child after child.
The equivalent of bringing your phone to a restaurant to watch a football game while you're with your family? Is that one of those where you just want, or just you go keep like, you go like fiddle, and then look up at the priest and he goes, hey, like he doesn't give you the thumbs up.
I think he wanted to make it as evil as possible.
Yeah.
Like that's what it was. He wanted to be evil. And he wanted the kid, and I think he also got off on wanting the kid to feel as powerless as possible.
I'll rape you in the house of God.
Yeah, and I'll do it while staring at a priest.
Yep.
You know, and that's how powerful I am.
God doesn't exist because he'd kill me if he did.
Yeah. So, and that also scares the kids so much that they don't tell anybody about what happened.
Oh, it's extremely powerful.
Yeah. Now, as you can tell, just so long as Jimmy Savile stayed in the United Kingdom, he was pretty much allowed to be a menace wherever he went. And the worst consequences he would ever face were to be chased off like he was just some naughty teenager. In 1978, Jimmy Savile was thrown off a cruise ship after the captain got a complaint that Savile had definitely molested a 14-year-old girl, had lured several other children into his cabin with the promise of an autograph before exposing himself, and Savile had literally chased another teen around the ship as if he was starring in his own horror movie. And trust me when I say that these stories that I'm telling here, this is just a small sample of the countless crimes that Jimmy Savile committed throughout the decades.
I would say that he's the kind of guy that could commit 10 felonies a day and not even kind of acknowledge that that's what he was doing, obviously. I think that he was raping on en masse.
It was compulsion.
And it was 24/7. Like it was anywhere he was. And he was doing it all the time. I think we're looking at least 1,000 plus.
Yeah, if not more.
You know where that doesn't happen? Crime Wave at Sea.
Right. And that's why you want to go to crimewaveatsea.com/last. Because we'll make sure the only people we're chasing around are mature mothers. All right? So if you're fucking, just know that we're MILFs only over here.
We're talking 2-pound clits.
Yeah. That's what I like to see.
Swollen. Yeah. Swollen. Like, yeah, Jimmy Savile had he called them walnuts. Clitorises.
Oh, wow. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, wow.
Well,
Another happy moment gone.
Trying to have fun.
Well,
just trying to have a good time with our comedy show.
Just
And it
for a
was
fucking second.
And it was specifically the clitorises of women older than the age of 25. He called them walnuts because he thought that any woman over the age of 25 was kind of gross.
Well, I'll shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Well,
fine.
I call them tadpoles.
Who's worse?
Who's the worst person? I don't know.
Now, Jimmy Savile, ever the man to constantly throw people off his trail, published a book about faith in 1979 called God Will Fix It. God Will Fix It. In this book, he compared himself to MLK, Gandhi, and Jesus Christ.
Well, he's closer to Gandhi than anybody.
Yeah.
True, very true. Savile claimed that, like those men, he was also vilified for the good work that he did. And people believed him when he said this shit. But in this book, Savile also explained his belief system, which I think tells you a lot about Jimmy Savile's psychology. See, in Savile's mind, God worked on a credit debt system. Savile believed that if he did enough charity work, it would balance out the ledger with God. The good would outweigh the bad, and he would therefore be allowed into heaven after he died. No matter how much bad shit he did, as long as he did enough charity, it was all going to be fine. And personally, I think this is why Jimmy Savile constantly said that he couldn't wait to die. I think that Savile fucking hated the charity work. He hated children, and he hated doing good things for others. But in his Catholic fucked brain, Savile believed that he had to do those things to make up for all of the horrible shit that he did. But since Jimmy Savile was inherently evil, he continually used charity to commit even larger crimes on an increasingly larger scale. This necessitated more good works, which only created more misery. So in the end, I think Jimmy Savile wanted to die because he wanted to break free from a cycle that was exhausting and torturous for Jimmy Savile, while never once considering the misery he visited upon others.
He felt that society, I completely agree with you, Marcus, he was above society. Like, he kind of believed that all of society, he was such a full-on, irredeemable narcissist that he really just believed society was there for him.
Sure.
And that these guys are like, and that's why it was such a fucking task to be saddled with all of this responsibility of being this Ubermensch that is past all of us, that understands things better than all of us. And this is just so much weight, and that's the reason why he was so happy to die.
It's interesting because part of me thinks that he did like it, because he never turned it off. If he was at a restaurant and it was someone's birthday, he would go sing for them and stuff like that.
He was a cat, but I could, as a former Catholic, still, no matter what is in there Catholic, no matter what I can do, no matter how much I can chase it out, the penance cycle is so crucial to that idea. I can literally just be him being like, because like I got really into the idea of like Immanuel Kant, like I got into in college, this idea that only true good deed is one done against your will, right? That you, normally people do good deeds because it makes them feel good. So it's essentially a selfish thing. An only truly good deed would be done against your very will itself. And I can see in his own brain, that's how he equates it all, being like, if I'm miserable doing this, then that means I'm good. And that afterwards, I can do whatever I want.
Do you think he prayed?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he prayed constantly.
Yeah.
No,
I think he was the only one who thought that I think he thought he was the only person that could talk directly to God.
Yeah. And I think that there is a Catholic priest out there, or there was a string of Catholic priests out there who were just privy to the worst shit. I think he confessed everything that he did to priests at one point or another.
And they just absolved him and they kept him going. Because, like, you remember that one guy? We cut it out of the last script, but we talked a little bit about that pastor, that priest he was working with.
Yeah.
And there's like a whole guy, and like, nobody knows what happened to that guy. But there was a priest around him for a while.
Yeah. And you look, and there was a picture of him and a priest, and the priest is looking at him like you look at your best friend.
Yeah.
Like you look
close.
at like somebody that you absolutely love, adore, and admire.
Yeah. He got like high honors from the Vatican.
Oh,
Very
yes.
much so. Yeah. No, he got a papal knighthood from the fucking Vatican, which is, of course, stripped away after he died. But yeah, he still got it.
If you strip it away, you still gave it to him.
Yeah.
So you still suck.
Yeah.
You're right, Eddie.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right.
Now, there were some people who were trying to speak openly about Jimmy Savile's crimes in the late 1970s, but those voices were unfortunately not the type that the average British citizen would listen to. Famously, Johnny Rotten, lead singer of the Sex Pistols, gave an embarrassingly edgy interview to the BBC in 1978, the same year the Sex Pistols broke up, in which Rotten claimed that he wanted to make a film killing all the people he wanted to kill, starting with Mick Jagger.
Man, he's so edgy.
It's the fucking interview. I didn't want to play it because I didn't want people to think even less of Johnny Rotten.
But
because he sounds like a fucking asshole.
Yeah, he sounds like a fucking teenage boy. It's awful.
Well, he was.
He was.
You know, he was probably 21, something like that, when he did the interview.
He's also somehow the hero of this story.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly, the second person on Rotten's cringy kill list was Jimmy Savile, because according to Johnny Rotten, Savile was a hypocrite with, quote, all sorts of seedy rumors surrounding him. Now, there's a lot of debate as to whether the interview actually aired or not. Some people said it did, some people said it didn't, and Johnny Rotten was not ever specific with what those seedy rumors were about. They just said he was seedy. But it is a fact that Rotten's statements about Jimmy Savile did get him banned from the BBC for a very long time. Rotten's ban did not go unnoticed, and the example the BBC made of the former Sex Pistol produced a chilling effect when it came to other people in the entertainment industry openly talking about Jimmy Savile's crimes.
I think it's because we're going to end up finding out that BBC had a lot more other pedophiles in the building besides just him, and it was a whole fucking thing.
Yeah, they did not want any investigative bodies to come looking around.
Yeah.
The whole thing's built on a lie, naming themselves BBC.
Right?
Because there aren't any
big black cocks. That's what it's talking about.
Yeah,
big black cocks.
Right, those are BBCs, yeah.
And there's none there.
True.
Big black cocks.
Cocks. Now, Johnny Rotten speculated during the interview that his comments about Jimmy Savile would probably be cut, and Rotten had every reason to believe that they would be. That's because by 1978, Jimmy Savile was not only one of the biggest stars on the BBC, Savile was also already heavily involved with the British royal family. Now, as far as how Jimmy got connected to the Royals, his most frequent one-off charity stunts involved competitions in cycling and foot races, because Jimmy Savile was addicted to exercise.
Do you know, I got a really good anecdote from a friend of the show, comedian Eleanor Morton, who's a Scottish comedian, that talked about her mom would go to a couple of these races. It was so often that Jimmy Savile would start the race, get off to a little area, van would pull up, he'd get in their fucking van, they'd drive all the way to the end, drop him off. And it was just like, that was so obvious. It was so obvious, and he very obviously was doing it.
Yeah.
Because he always looked fine at the end of the race.
Of course, not wet.
Yeah, you can't run an entire race with a cigar hanging out of your mouth, no matter what Jimmy Savile wanted you to believe.
No.
But Savile also engaged in competitions involving endurance marches with the Royal Marines. And it was through the Royal Marines that Jimmy Savile met the royal family, or as Jimmy Savile cheekily liked to call them, the firm.
Certainly don't look that way.
No, they are. I definitely call them the runny.
The flab.
The puddles.
But I actually try to look up if anybody else calls
Hey, we're the puddles.
Hey, people say we puddle around. You know, I do find he was the only one who called him the firm.
Yeah, he was.
But it's a great name. But I will say, it's a great nickname for the royal family.
It is. Well, through the Royal Marines, Jimmy Savile became good friends with Lord Louis Mountbatten, Admiral of the Fleet, who became Savile's bridge to such powerful figures as Prince Philip and the former Prince Charles, because Mountbatten was sort of a father figure to both men. He was Prince Philip's uncle. Now, Savile would offer few hard facts when it came to his relationship with Lord Mountbatten. When pressed, Savile would ramble convoluted stories about how he had taught Mountbatten how to, quote, navigate public relations, which, according to Savile, gained him entry into the British establishment's innermost circles. Savile claimed that he had taken an oath of omerta, silence, when it came to the royal family, and that his success with the royals throughout the decades came down to him, quote, minding his own business. In reality, though, Jimmy Savile got on with Lord Louis Mountbatten because Mountbatten was the royal family's most dangerous sexual predator until the arrival of England's sweatiest royal, Prince Andrew.
Formerly known as.
Hold on. I thought he was going to be a good guy finally.
Now, Lord Mountbatten is another example of, like, I don't know if, like, how do we put this? There's obviously, when I think of the royal family, all I think about is inbred predators, right?
Yeah.
Like, but I know that they're not all that. Some of them are just more slack-jawed, yokels, essentially that have now have a lot of other literally honky fucking central.
Yeah, a bunch of fucking honkies.
Yeah, a bunch of fucking honkies. Right? That's exactly what they are. And like when I look at to me, like the ultimate example is like now we're looking at the princes now, right? We got Prince Andrew, the other one, the boys.
Harry and what's his name?
Yeah, who fucking cares? Who cares? They'll be dead soon. They'll all be dead. It doesn't matter. It's gonna be over. And they're both are like that. They were doing the thing that we did last week with all the.
Well, the one who's actually Prince Charles's son or King Charles's son, he's the one who has the wonderful. The other one who's actually his father is actually a redheaded tennis player.
Yeah,
he's looking good.
He's doing great.
Yeah.
He's doing great.
Yeah.
But there's something about. I wonder how. I'm not going to be like they're all pedophiles. They're all like,
no, they're not. No, that's stupid and reductive, and it's ridiculous. It's incredibly unhelpful when people say like everybody's a fucking pedophile. It's so fucking stupid.
It really is. But my question is, I wonder what the actual percentage is in terms of people that have done this type of activity. Not just I'm just talking about rape and all this kind of stuff.
If I were to guess, like this is me being like really concerned, I'm going to say 15%.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to guess that it's. I would think there's probably a bell curve when it comes to pedophilia. The extremely poor and the extremely rich probably commit pedophilia and sex crimes at far higher rates than everyone in the middle.
I'd say that.
Love that middle ass.
That's why I stay right in the middle, man. Right in the middle.
Now, much like Jimmy Savile, Lord Mountbatten was considered to be a British national treasure. He was a war hero, a naval leader, and a major political player. Some even considered Mountbatten to be the true power behind the throne. He was the one who supposedly told Queen Elizabeth what to do.
Put the crown on.
What a fabulous idea. I have been sleeping using it on my bottom. Hey, what a wonderful idea.
Well, Mountbatten counseled many members of the royal family, specifically Prince Philip, that's Queen Elizabeth's husband, and Prince Philip's son, the current King Charles. And through Mountbatten, Jimmy Savile formed close relationships with both Philip and Charles, and those relationships would continue until Jimmy Savile's death decades later. It was from the 70s to the 2000s. Or actually, more like the 60s, but he became particularly close in the 70s. And when Mountbatten met Jimmy Savile in the 1960s, the two of them had an immediate rapport, which Savile described as a, quote, attraction of opposites. Savile was the working-class clown, while Mountbatten had no less than 12 noble or military titles to his name. Before long, Mountbatten was asking Jimmy Savile to give speeches in his stead during official events, where Savile would speak and joke and make everyone laugh, and Mountbatten, all he'd have to do is cut the ribbon, take a couple pictures.
Even that is quite difficult for me to do due to the tensile strength of the fabric itself. Someone needs to help me. How do I cut this ribbon? How do I do it with my hands?
This ribbon made out of metal?
It's difficult. Bring me a child.
Well, Savile took to calling Mountbatten the governor, while Mountbatten very ominously referred to Savile as the fixer. Now, this could have been a reference to Jim'll Fix It, but Lord Mountbatten did indeed have quite a bit to fix. Like Savile, Mountbatten had a ravenous sexual appetite for both sexes and all ages, although Mountbatten certainly leaned closer to the boys than Jimmy Savile.
Attraction of opposites. See, and that's nice.
He likes boys, and I like girls.
2 steps in and 2 steps back.
Is that what that Paul Abdul song is about? Also, I will say in terms of royal nicknames for themselves and others, they are particularly very fucking corny.
Yeah.
And if you look at just because the email that Prince Andrew sends to Epstein, if you look at his sense of humor, if it's anything like Mountbatten, I can definitely see the fixer thing being he'd be like, they think it's clever.
Yeah.
They think it's like, I call him that because of his show, but actually it's because he helps me cover up my pedophilia. And it's just like, yeah, we know.
Yeah, we understand.
So a lot of people are super worried about investing. I understand. Money's fake. And you're like, why can't I just pull all my money out of the bank, turn it into like essentially smelted precious metals, place them up inside of my anal cavity in order to get across the various country lines. I understand you. I'm with you. I'm like you. But things like Acorn showed me it's okay to invest. Give your money a chance to grow with financial wellness app Acorns. Sign up in minutes and start automatically investing your spare money, whether it's a little or it's a lot, especially if it's a little. And the Acorns potential screen will show you the power of compounding and how your money can grow over time. I'm actually not joking here. Investing money as early as you can is super important. I heard early on a piece of advice that said it's not how much you put in the market, it's how long you are in the market for. All right, so go and do it. Sign up now and Acorns will boost your new account with a $5 bonus investment. Join the over 14 million all-time consumers who have already saved and invested over $27 billion with Acorns. Head to acorns.com/left or download the Acorns app to get started. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 2 compensation provided. Potential subject to various factors such as customers' accounts, age, investment settings. Does not include Acorns fees. Results do not predict or represent the performance of any Acorns portfolio. Investment results will vary. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/left.
Woo-hoo! Woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeehaw! Bang! 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 Bang!
Man, we got our Omaha steak boxes in today.
My Omaha steak box arrived for our personal experience, and I gotta say, just opening it up made me excited. The steam of the dry ice, the gleam of all of the meat products. And you know what it has is one of my favorite things is my selection. It's like, because obviously I love a big steak, but they do get the little baby steaks, the little sirloins, those little poppers. You could eat 3 or 4 of them in a go.
Feel like if steaks were oysters.
That's like my favorite because they're good for breakfast. You can do 5 or 6 in a go. Go to Omaha Steaks. This is not even just like, yeah, sure they gave us meat, and yeah, sure they pay us money, but honestly, they're really good meat.
Yeah, you like fat dogs, and I ain't talking about regular dogs. I'm talking about these hot dogs. Man, those hot dogs, they've been chunky.
They are thick as Andre the Giant's fingers.
Honestly, I'm like worried about where I'm going to get a bun that can support these thick dogs.
I'll show you where to get one.
Thank you.
Try the Burger Perfection flight at omahasteaks.com today. That's 20 premium steak burgers for just $79.99. Plus get $35 off with promo code LEFT. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code LEFT for $35 off at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. Go and get yourself some meat.
Hey there, all you Quinceaholics. Oh, I feel so good. I got the breeze coming through my linen pants and my linen shirt. Oh, it's too hot for my cashmere sweater. Thank God I got this wonderful undershirt and sunglasses to keep my eyeballs safe from the radiation of a star that's trying to kill all of us. I digress. Listen. Quince has got anything you need. They're going to help you out. They're going to change your life. You like simple, plain, good-looking clothes with high-quality fabrics? Quince your hiney. Get in there. Take care of yourself. Be good to you and dress like a prince when you're wearing your Quince. I got a silver chain. Woo! Doctor, I got a silver chain. It looks great. You can get anything you want. They have gold bars. All right, you want to buy a gold bar? Quint's got a gold bar. All right, you go get that for yourself. You treat yourself nice and you dress even better. Upgrade your everyday. Go to quince.com/last for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada and the UK too. That's QUINCE.com/last for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/last.
Rise from your grave.
Well, according to Mountbatten's biographer, his home was, quote, awash with young, good-looking naval ratings bustling about the place with no apparent purpose. And Mountbatten's gay friends affectionately referred to him as, this is nice, Mount Bottom.
That's when someone comes and pushes the pudding.
Here comes Mount Bottom again.
Hello.
What up, Mount Bottom?
It's time everybody start whittling my tiddlywinks.
I'm waiting.
No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being secretly gay or bisexual or what have you.
I just want them to be gay. All I want from them is to be normal gay.
It would have been super fun. We could have got a whole other Netflix show out of that. But Mountbatten's secrets were far worse than simply mounting the bottoms of various consenting British sailors.
Technically, that's something to brag about. You wouldn't believe how much dick I can take. You would not even believe how many meters, over 29 kilometers of pure sailor penis has run through this royal lineage. And everyone would be like, amazing.
Wow, great.
Wow.
Didn't like all of like the famously gay Brits, didn't they like kind of like castrate him chemically like for a long time?
That's what they did with
the scientist guy that Benedict Cumberbatch
the imitation
played.
game. Yeah.
There was some of that.
But yeah, like the pedophiles, they do nothing.
Oh yeah, well, because that's normal.
well, that's just that's just boys being boys. That's another way of the British being British.
I'll tell you what, those little girls knew exactly what they were doing with their pigtails, perfect little handles for blowjobs. I know what they're doing.
Alan something.
There we go.
Turning. Alan Turing.
Alan Turing. Yeah, Alan Turing.
Wow,
Yeah,
see, we got
there
there.
together, yeah.
Gobbles come in buckets of ass.
Well, as far as Mountbatten's crimes went, in the 1940s, Mountbatten's driver was paid a fair amount of hush money to help conceal Lord Mountbatten's insatiable thirst for children aged 8 to 12. Mountbatten would knock them out with lemonade and brandy and then dress them up in baby girl outfits before raping them.
That's really embarrassing.
So when they got to 13, he was like too old?
Yeah, I mean, 8 to 12. I mean, that's the thing. He raped enough children where he developed a taste. Like, as he developed a specific, like, I like them 7 too young, 13 too old, 8 to 12, sweet spot.
God, that's a lot of times.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. Yeah. I'm letting it sit here.
Is that why you're wearing the hat for 7?
No.
I can keep safe.
Well, with Lord Mountbatten, if it was just the driver making these claims, if you just had one guy saying like, oh yeah, he liked kids, you might chalk it up to homophobia. Happens all the time. But another source said that Mountbatten raped a Burmese boy in the back of a packed cargo plane in Sri Lanka. That same source said that Mountbatten preferred high-class, properly educated young boys. And he did everything he could to procure more victims from any source using any means at his disposal, just as Jimmy Savile did. But as it turns out, Lord Mountbatten's eventual death in 1979 may have had quite a bit to do with where Mountbatten sourced most of his victims in his later years, because it seems like Mountbatten may have learned a thing or two from Jimmy Savile.
Pedophiles exchange information and change the way they do things according to other pedophiles. It is completely true. Yeah. There was another example of this that they saw in like this is a side quest that shows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. See, Lord Mountbatten was a massive enemy to Ireland, especially during the so-called Troubles concerning the constitutional status of Northern Ireland. Mountbatten was therefore stationed in Northern Ireland during the 1970s. And like Savile had done with the hospitals, Lord Mountbatten seemed to have stopped with the upper-class British boys in favor of turning Northern Ireland into his own so-called sweet shop.
This is where it would have been super crucial if leprechauns were real.
Yeah.
Because then he could have just had at them. Because they're guys.
Well, but the thing is that...
the leprechaun has to agree to it.
Yeah, and dwarves exist. It's not like people that are leprechaun-sized don't exist. They do.
I appreciate you thinking that was going to be nice, though.
I do appreciate it as well.
Yeah, you're trying.
You're trying. Yeah. I mean, you're really fucking stupid, but you're trying.
But I just imagining how just better it would have been
if there were magical beings.
Little guys. Magical little guys.
Yeah, no, I get
They'd be like, oh, where's my gold? Oh, suck your dick.
Yeah.
Like, how nice would it be? Little gay leprechaun.
Yeah, the magic is important.
Oh, you have a shishilele, huh? Oh, you want it? Oh, I heard you're about a bit of a bottom. Here I come. Oh, I'm looking for my gold. Oh, I found the brown gold.
Yeah, that's why rainbow's a gay thing, and the pot of gold is all the money that the gay bars make.
Wow. Oh, it's about WeHo.
Yeah. Well, according to author Robin Bryans, Mountbatten was a central part of a pedophile network that allegedly kidnapped Irish boys from Kincora Boys' Home in Belfast for use in orgies at Mountbatten's castle throughout the 1970s. These accounts were confirmed by survivors who, like the little girl at Stoke Mandeville, only learned that a famous British establishment figure had abused them after seeing Mountbatten on the news. The difference here, though, is that the news story seen by Mountbatten's victims was the story reporting Mountbatten's fiery and deserving death.
This is awesome.
At the hands of the IRA!
Yeah, dude. Honestly, this is pretty awesome.
This is actually really fun. See, Lord Mountbatten had been a target of the IRA for several years and had already survived at least one attempt on his life.
They put a grenade inside of the bottom of a little boy, and it was simply too irresistible. And I just said, should I pull the pin? Should I not pull the pin? I had him executed.
I mean, there is some suspicion that the IRA had full knowledge of Mountbatten's abuse at the boys' homes in Belfast.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah. It's said by some that the abuse was a big factor as to why they chose to assassinate Lord Mountbatten. But the IRA actually had a lot of reasons to kill Mountbatten.
Yeah, they kill him for fun.
Yeah, but it was but that one makes it extra sweet.
Yeah, and we're not going to go into all those reasons lest we fall into the troubles ourselves.
Oh, I want it! I want it!
I'm reading an amazing Irish book right now called The Third Policeman. I would recommend it to fucking anybody. I'm having a great time with it.
I actually was reading this great book. It's like an alternate history book about the Troubles, but it's got all the Teletubbies in it. It's called The Twubbles.
Yeah. I can go for a gay lick myself.
Great.
Disgusting. Unfucking believable. Unbelievable. Who should be in free speech jail? Who should be in there? It shouldn't be me.
I mentioned Flann O'Brien, and you're fucking giving me Teletubbies, and you're giving me gay puns.
Oh, yeah, man. I can't wait. Yeah.
Let's see how this guy was blown to death.
Yeah. For the purposes of this story, just know that it was indeed the IRA who put Mountbatten down on August 27th, 1979. That morning, Mountbatten took some family and friends out on his boat in Northern Ireland to check on some lobster pots that they'd placed the day before. Unbeknownst to Mountbatten, the IRA had filled those pots with 50 pounds of explosives overnight.
Yes, let's go through these because I try to get rid of the girls. Yes. Let's go through all of these lobsters. Check into the little skirts.
I've actually found a use for the 13-year-old. They make wonderful chum for the crabs.
I love the chum.
When the boat reached the pots, the IRA detonated the explosives, blowing up the boat and killing Mountbatten instantly.
And cooking all the lobster.
Yeah. When the authorities found his legless corpse, Mountbatten was floating face down in the water, and Northern Ireland had one less monster to deal with.
Oh, that one must have been so sweet. I just want to get it once.
What do you mean?
Just to see it in the news, like somebody I really don't like get exploded.
Yeah.
It's the funnest way for you to get sweet revenge.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
I've never seen somebody just like somebody I truly dislike get exploded.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has been. There was the one Russian general, but I kind of liked him.
But that was like hard because that guy, he was a moron.
Yeah.
Because he did it because he was like, oh, I'm coming for you, Putin. And Putin's like, well, you know,
I
you
booked
just
you a flight.
come visit me. Let's talk about it.
Now, even though Jimmy Savile's closest relationship with the royals was blown up by the IRA, and all this certainly puts a different tenor on the episode of The Crown that dramatizes Mountbatten's death. Mountbatten is portrayed as a fucking hero in that show.
Really?
No, he's portrayed as a great man.
Well, it's because Netflix was not allowed to put any single salacious bad thing, besides just like sex stuff. They were not allowed to put anything in the show because of how thoroughly controlled the UK allows any kind of entertainment about the royal family that's allowed to be portrayed, because they'll sue you till you fucking don't exist.
Dude, when I did historical roast, when I was a writer on that, we had Fortune Feimster play Princess Diana, and which was fucking hilarious. She was amazing. And but we had like jokes about the Queen killing her and stuff.
Oh yeah,
and then fucking people from Netflix UK flew in, and they're like, "Nah, you got to cut those 2 jokes."
Dude. The reason why they do that is because...
I'm surprised they let us do this shit.
Well, it's because they don't know we're doing it.
Yeah, we'll find out. But Savile had also developed a close relationship with Prince Philip, Queen Elizabeth's husband, by the time of Mountbatten's assassination. See, Prince Philip immediately saw Jimmy Savile as a way for the royal family to project a common touch. And his words, not mine.
And definitely what Prince Philip knew, because that, like... I can see him just like, he's liquid.
Yeah. Jimmy Savile was a way for the royals to appear more approachable, because that was always a concern for the royals in the latter half of the 20th century. They had to figure out in the age of mass media how to appear as human beings, because the fucking monarchy had never had to worry about being a fucking human being before television.
Because it is interesting, because all of the media is changing everything, because you're even just having to understand that, like, Lord Mountbatten probably had not even been like pictorialized that much in terms of like things that they saw every day. So you could definitely see him coming and abusing a bunch of people, and then I'm not realizing that they were just abused by a member of the royal family.
Mm-hmm. Prince Philip also believed that Jimmy Savile's so-called common touch could be of great use to his incredibly awkward and terribly disappointing son, Charles, the Prince of Wales and heir to the throne.
Oh, how I wish I could be your tampon.
I wish I could still be your tampon and crawl inside of you, my dearest. Can you imagine how rough her tampon was?
Sure.
Ugh, Camilla.
Camilla seems fine.
I think it's wool.
Yeah. I don't know if people go out and shop for different texture of tampon.
How I wish to be with your tampon.
Bring me the absolute scratchiest tampon you can find.
Heavy flow. Oh, here comes the flow.
As we mentioned last, that's why they call it Aunt Flo.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, as we mentioned last episode, Charles immediately took to Jimmy Savile as part jester, part friend, part confidant, part advisor, and at times, full mentor. In other words, it was clear to anyone who saw them together that Charles trusted Savile and valued his opinions in all matters. Now, it took Jimmy Savile until the mid-1980s to fully worm his way into Prince Charles's inner circle. But starting in 1986, the two of them began a 20-year correspondence in which Savile basically told the royals how to behave in public with actual people.
Yeah, they'd be like, how do I respond to this situation? How would you do it, Jimmy? And then he would give them advice.
He would write like 5-page like outlined strategies for like, this is what, you need a situation room. This is how you talk to people. These are the things you say. These are the things you don't say. And they listened to him.
He was great at it.
Yeah.
Yes, he was quite good at very specific, like, honestly, of emergency PR.
Yeah, how to manipulate people.
It's like if the wolf was a wolf.
Yeah. By the end of the 80s, Jimmy Savile had unrestricted access to the royal palaces and once boasted of popping into Buckingham Palace after completing the London Marathon to have a shower and then afterward tea with the Queen.
But who knows what's real and what's not real, too?
Well, we do know that that he could show up at he could basically show up almost anywhere in England and talk his way in. Unless it was like a top secret military facility, then he could talk his way into any royal palace.
He also never tried.
Savile.
He never tried. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, Savile was so trusted by Prince Charles that Charles actually called Savile in to be a marriage counselor to, in a word, fix his broken marriage to Diana. Even though Savile was notoriously single, his entire life. Savile, however, took the opportunity of this access to lick the arm of one of Charles's female clerks just before a so-called counseling session. The clerk, just like the hospital staff at Stoke Mandeville, was told not to say anything about the assault because Savile was there on an important mission to patch up things between, quote, the boss and the bossette, and nothing was more important than that. Now, as far as Savile's relationship with Princess Diana went, it seems like it was one way in public and another in private. In 1987, Savile invited Diana to help him unveil a new MRI scanner at Stoke Mandeville Hospital. And Savile certainly played up the role of jester with Princess Di in public. He made her laugh however he could. He wore a funny T-shirt that said "for sale," and she, playfully slapped him like, "Oh, you're so funny." But in private, Diana told a former royal correspondent that Savile was so creepy that she would physically recoil whenever he was around. Savile had inserted himself into Diana's marriage without her consent because Charles liked having him around and he trusted him. And Savile could show up at any residence at any time to, quote, check up on Diana. Savile finally went too far when he licked Diana's hand, although details on that incident are scant. We just know that at one point he licked her hand.
Yeah.
But as far as we can tell, that was probably near the end of her marriage to Charles anyway, because it's sort of awkward when your husband's friend licks your hand and your husband waves it off as charming. Oh, so working class.
Oh, man.
Well, they're all prisoners. Princess Di was a fucking prisoner at that fucking point.
Yeah.
Sure.
She was just, and then they fucking murdered her.
Yeah. Sure.
They murdered her. Queen Elizabeth II murdered her. Yeah, she fucking did. Fuck her fucking ass.
All right, there we go.
Oh, boy.
Netflix UK here to see you. I was just wondering if you would write terribly, if you would possibly refrain from saying the Queen killed the Princess Diana.
Get out of here, you fucking limey bastard.
And that's why we can say it now.
Yeah.
I'm glad she's dead.
Not Princess Diana.
No.
The Queen.
Yeah.
Well, enough's enough.
You're right.
And that's what it came down to. Enough's enough.
Enough's enough.
Stuff is enough.
Now, to be fair, there have never been any accusations nor evidence of pedophilia when it comes to King Charles.
No, he wants to be Camilla's tempon.
Yeah, that's it. There's never been any indication that King Charles has any dark sexual secrets. He's pretty damn normal. Really, the weirdest thing is wanting to be Camilla's tampon.
That's the grossest thing about him, is how much he loves Camilla. But also, he seems like a very boring, if clueless, befuddled man.
But that's what it is. That being said, King Charles has certainly surrounded himself throughout his life with pedophiles and sexual monsters, whether it's his Uncle Louis, his brother Andrew, or his many pedophile friends.
Many pedophile friends.
It definitely makes you look better in comparison.
It's just hard. If all of your friends are pedophiles, it just gets to a point where it's like,
Yeah.
Now, whether that's a Charles thing or it's just a feature of being in the social class of incredibly wealthy and powerful people, that's up for debate. Could be one or the other.
Could be an inbred thing.
Oh, yeah. It's an inbred thing. You won't understand. You wouldn't understand. Oh, yeah, my eyes look two different directions. It's an inbred thing.
Let me ask you this. Is it a party hole thing?
No.
Oh, would I understand?
You would not understand. It's an inbred thing.
But the fact remains that Charles's social circle was indeed far more evil than the average person's social circle. Besides Jimmy Savile, Prince Andrew, and Lord Mountbatten,
That's enough.
Charles was also close with a pedophile who had the unfortunate and appropriate name of Peter Ball.
Yes, we had to change it from the proper balls.
Oh, it was a dark Sunday.
It's changed from the old name, Richard Testicles.
Testicles.
It's a Polish name.
Mr. Testicles. Come closer.
Dick Testicles.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Big black cock.
ABC.
Yeah. Well, Ball provably committed offenses of sexual abuse against at least 17 teenage boys and young men.
You can say that again.
I don't know.
Ball provably committed offenses of sexual abuse against at least 17 teenage boys and young men, crimes for which Ball was convicted of in 2015. It's very nice. A very small sentence. It was a slap on the wrist at best. But even after the first allegations were made against Peter Ball in 1993, Prince Charles came to Peter Ball's aid and wrote a letter to Ball in which Charles said that he wished he could have done more to right the monstrous wrongs that have been done here, because he thought that this whole thing was a big misunderstanding. It's always a big misunderstanding.
Well, it's like, sure, they were young, but it's boys being boys.
Yeah. And Charles then arranged for the Duchy of Cornwall to buy a house for Ball and his twin brother so they could rent. And effectively, Charles set up his pedophile friend in residence while Ball figured out his next move.
These are great friends.
He is a great friend. And so it is my estimation that rather than being a pedophile himself, King Charles is more of an incredibly insecure and overly trusting fool who's willing to go to bat for anyone who's fucking nice to him.
Honestly, that is actually dead on descriptor of him.
Yeah. And in turn, it seems like sexual predators like Jimmy Savile and Peter Ball, they recognized that King Charles was a very useful idiot that they could adhere themselves to if they wanted to continue escaping justice, which they did.
The way people describe working with him, I kind of get during this series, I got a little bit like involved in several YouTube videos talking about people that have worked for Buckingham Palace or worked for Prince Andrew or worked for these things. And the way they talk about Charles is that, because, like he's doing the thing where he's not doing the proper cancer treatments. He's doing the whole holistic thing. And
so he's going to die soon.
Yes. And that's what they all say. He's well-meaning if an absent person.
Yes.
He's just like literally like oh dear. Like that's like his whole life.
Oh dear, not another one.
I'm off another one.
You see the footage of the person putting the pen in his hand and like helping him sign?
Well, he's got he does have problems with his hands.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, he does. You've seen him. You've seen them sausages. He could molest if he wanted to. And I honestly think that's what's nice is that it kept him clean. I think having the big sausagey fingers was like, because you have an idea how hard it is to get the little buttons?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
I have many dolls. I have many dolls.
And you're always undressing them.
And changing clothes in the seasons.
If you don't undress the doll, you can't see what's underneath.
Yeah, hey, how do you know that if I don't, they weren't made to order like I asked for them to be?
Oh my God, are those really his hands?
Yeah, buddy.
Dear
Jesus
Lord.
Christ.
Rob just pulled up a picture of his hands. I've never seen his hands. Those are...
Looks like they're about to explode.
Honestly, they keep him honest.
Wow. And they're all different lengths.
Ew.
Yeah, each one's a different brand of sausage. One's Johnsonville. That's a Vienna right there. I see. Oh, yeah, that's definitely. Oh, there's a couple of Johnsonvilles.
Yeah, there's a
Oh,
Vienna,
my God.
Oscar Mayer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely a Nathan's.
There's a Armour hot dog. Armour hot dog. Yeah.
God, that is fucking vile.
Just die already, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Ugh.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah, you will.
Now, Margaret Thatcher finally became...
That's like the most disgusting thing in this entire fucking series.
I can't believe you never saw those before. I'm glad.
Yeah, I've never seen it either. I had no idea.
I'm fucking nauseous.
Yeah,
Sure.
man.
Yeah.
God.
And you're a man with gigantic sausage fingers. You have gigantic sausage hands.
That's going to happen to
But
me.
hey, maybe. But guess who?
I'm going to trim them.
Guess who's not complaining though, y'all? Camilla, because it gets that fucking 4-finger dip in that fucking pussy.
That's why she's still bleeding.
Yeah. The flow. Now, Margaret Thatcher became Prime Minister in 1980. And since Jimmy now had connections at every level of British government, he began making regular visits to both Downing Street and Buckingham Palace. At those locations, Savile would assault the people who worked for the royals and the people who worked for Thatcher, all while he gave advice to the people who ruled England.
He's literally raping people in Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, but even though Savile was now a part of the crew that made the decisions that affected the lives of every person in the United Kingdom, he was still considered a person of interest in the infamous Yorkshire Ripper murders. Now, to give you a refresher, the Yorkshire Ripper murders involved a string of 13 killings and 7 attempted murders in Jimmy Savile's territory in northern England, Leeds and Manchester. The Yorkshire Ripper was eventually identified as Peter Sutcliffe, who was arrested in January of 1981. But Jimmy Savile had been considered a person of interest to investigators prior to Sutcliffe's arrest for multiple reasons. Firstly, most of the Yorkshire Ripper's victims were sex workers, and Jimmy Savile was known to be a regular patron of sex workers in Leeds. Secondly, 2 of the murders were committed in Hyde Park in Leeds, and at the time, Jimmy Savile's apartment overlooked said park and was located not 150 yards from the crime scene.
And he had a mobile rape unit.
Yeah. Jimmy Savile was actually brought in for questioning after members of the public finally came forward and reported that his reputation as a predator might make him a person worth talking to. And then, after another body was found near one of Savile's other homes, a dentist actually made casts of Savile's teeth to see if the bite marks matched. That's how interested they were in Jimmy Savile.
Damn.
But even though Jimmy Savile had been the subject of a murder investigation in 1980, Margaret Thatcher still put him up for a knighthood for the first time in 1981. That's how much Margaret Thatcher loved Jimmy Savile. But due to the incredible rumors concerning Savile's sexual crimes, it would take 9 more years of constant campaigning before Savile would finally become Sir Jimmy.
This is probably a question for our listeners, side stories at lpotl@gmail.com. But I actually wonder how common it is to campaign to be a knight.
I think it's pretty common.
It does seem like there's some people that because I forgot who famously, I think Keith Richards famously said no.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain people that have gotten.
Bowie said no.
I think Bowie said no.
Bob Dylan said no.
Yeah. But it's like this idea that there's but the idea of it seems kind of gauche to campaign to be a knight, but maybe that's common. I don't know.
Probably part of it. We have no idea.
I have no idea.
Yeah, but Jimmy Savile is
in
nothing
a way,
if gauche.
Yes.
Now, perhaps because Jimmy Savile had been a suspect in the Yorkshire Ripper murders, he was quite chuffed, as the British say, to discover during a sponsored fun run for prisoners on the Isle of Wight that the actual Yorkshire Ripper, Peter Sutcliffe, was being held at that same prison.
And just to remind you, these women were raped, mutilated, and he had that special, he had the rape pants. He had special get-em pants where he would wear a sweater underneath his, so he would wear a sweater over his legs with his dick and balls going through the neck hole under his pants, so that when he wanted to quickly rape somebody, he could just drop his pants and his penis was out.
Yeah.
Why not just not wear underwear? You don't have to wear upside-down sweaters.
Eddie doesn't get it. Eddie doesn't get doing things with panache.
Yeah. Also, like, there's obviously where he's committing the crimes. Hyde Park. He's hiding in the park.
Sure.
You know, and they were looking for leads.
Well, just like it had been with the pedophiles at Broadmoor, Jimmy Savile and Peter Sutcliffe became fast friends.
Aww.
Savile described Sutcliffe as a good bloke. His actual direct quote was, Peter Sutcliffe's as good as gold.
The Yorkshire Ripper.
As good as gold. And this was despite the fact that Sutcliffe had raped and killed over a dozen women. Now, after Peter Sutcliffe was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, he was transferred to where else but Broadmoor Psychiatric Hospital. There, Savile and Sutcliffe became even closer because now Jimmy Savile had unrestricted access to the Yorkshire Ripper. And both staff and patients remarked that these two monsters could often be found deep in private conversation, as if the two of them shared a bond that nobody else could fathom.
And there was a thing that he did where this famous boxer was visiting the hospital while Jimmy Savile was there. And Jimmy Savile thought it was really funny to introduce the two of them and get them a picture taken of the two of them shaking hands. And it ruined this guy's life right after the fact. And Jimmy Savile thought it was hilarious because the guy had no idea that he was shaking hands with the Yorkshire Ripper. And it's just this idea of not only does Jimmy Savile like the Yorkshire Ripper, he likes him enough to include him on bits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Peter Sutcliffe's down for it all as well.
Yeah, it's weird because it's two things, right? Like, they have things in common, being predators, but it's also like Jimmy Savile is a notorious starfucker.
Yeah.
And he's gotten famous, the Yorkshire Ripper.
And there's also, again, something to this idea of I can see something within this person that nobody else can see because I have this sort of ability to forgive.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what he even says. Like, I forgive him of his crimes. I can look into him and I can see something that nobody else can see, because what he's trying to do, much like we're seeing in our current like fucking temperament, he's trying to make Peter Sutcliffe. He's trying to like rehab Peter Sutcliffe.
A little bit.
You know, he's trying to say like, oh, look, no, he's just a regular bloke. Because if we can all forgive the Yorkshire Ripper, then eventually maybe you'll forgive me.
Maybe, yeah. And it's just another way for him to be a good person, to seem to be a good person. It's like, well, how would you like it if nobody ever talked to you? You know?
Yes, because you're the Yorkshire fucking Ripper. And at some point, there has to be friendship bars.
Yeah.
There has to be some barrier to entries to certain forms of friendship.
No rippers.
No rippers.
No rippers.
Except for Jesse and the Rippers, the character that John Stamos played on Full House.
Even then, you know what? No.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to say no as well, because John Stamos sucks.
Wow.
Whoa, I will
Wow.
take that.
He does?
I don't have an opinion.
He does.
I don't have an opinion.
I love John.
I'm right in the middle.
Yeah.
Fine.
I don't have an opinion.
Well, I'm on Team Rebecca Romaine.
Oh, really? Well, I don't know what he did there.
Because I love Strange New Worlds, and I think it's a good Star Trek show.
I do choose Rebecca Romaine, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you don't have to. It's been decades.
I choose Rebecca.
Now, just like it was in the 60s and 70s, there were times when the press got close to exposing Jimmy Savile during the 1980s. In 1983, two girls aged 10 and 11 had a bad experience in Jimmy's house after he invited them inside for a tea. So the girls told their parents, and the parents called both the cops and the tabloids. Savile was therefore hounded for months by the tabloids, because they've been waiting for something like this for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
But Savile claimed that nobody could find any evidence of anything, which, quote, earned him total respect from the authorities. They had so much respect for him. They looked into him. They found nothing. Oh, my God, they love him so much.
Do you have any idea how hard it is to string together evidence for sexual assault? It's extremely fucking difficult.
Well, I mean,
it's why these guys do this, though. But they do this because these charges bounce off of them.
Well, I mean,
because they're the evidentiary, like what you have to get.
Yeah, the burden of proof.
It's insane.
But at this point, there are dozens upon dozens of reports all over England.
Tell me about it.
About Jimmy Savile.
Oh, believe me, I'm not fucking encouraging. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, it's difficult. Now, obviously, the police just weren't doing their job, and not just because they might have been leaned on by the Prime Minister or the Prince of Wales, who, remember, by 1983, both of those people are close personal friends to Jimmy Savile. As we said, Jimmy Savile had gained control over the police decades before he even met a royal, so he had nothing to worry about when it came to investigation. His biggest worry was the ever-present and vicious British press. But Jimmy Savile had an innate understanding of how to manipulate any given situation, no matter how large it was, and his plan for the press worked perfectly. To distract from the 1983 pedophilia accusations, Savile gave interviews in which he would quickly deny the sex crimes, then change the subject to smaller transgressions from his past involving violence, so as to give the papers something salacious to print. Savile went back to his dance hall days, describing himself as a godfather with an army of goons who would tie up and beat geezers who were trying to look up a girl's skirt or grope them, all on Savile's cold orders. Savile even claimed that a bouncer once kicked a man's head in on Savile's say-so. This is amidst many other stories of dance hall and black market goings-on that may or may not have happened. Savile then once again admitted to indulging in girls and groupies, but way back in the 60s, 20 years ago. Why, it's so long ago. Why are you even asking about that? And he would immediately and cleverly pivot to his well-established altruism. He said ever since he started his hospital and charity work, all that business with the young girls stopped. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that anymore.
Oh, yeah. It's like how we're too busy making war. We can't work with the Medicaid. We can't fix Medicaid. We got big boy things to do.
I mean, in his defense, he was into necrophilia at this point.
Yeah.
And so, because the British people wanted to believe it, Savile skated by once again, and he was left to continue indulging in his monstrous habits from one end of England to the other for another 30 years.
Another 30 years.
Another 30 years. Now, as the years went by, Jimmy Savile embedded himself even deeper into the systems that allowed him his indulgences. He was like a fucking tick, and he therefore gained more allies in his sexual monstrosity, particularly within the NHS. The senior civil servant who ran the mental health division of the Department of Health, a one Brian McGuinness, was indeed an alleged pedophile who was said to have raped at least one disabled child, but ultimately escaped charges.
Good numbers as far as this episode goes.
One? Yeah. McGuinness also blocked legislation that would help sexual assault victims with disabilities, which is that's a hard thing to come out and say, nah.
Well, it's because they're like, the main thing is just because, like, ew. And, like, what a boring subject. Why aren't we putting more kids on roller coasters to eat lunch? Like, what are we doing here? Why are we talking about all these, we need to protect all these people? What are we doing here?
Well, in 1988, Jimmy Savile and Brian McGuinness were brought in to be a part of a task force to reform Broadmoor Psychiatric Hospital. And so these monsters sat on the hospital's board right next to various other allies of Margaret Thatcher. This was a Thatcher project. Now, being on the actual board of Broadmoor emboldened Savile even further, and he began shaping the institution to suit his own needs. He recommended smaller wards with more private rooms, more individual therapy for patients, and a new office for himself. All of Savile's requests were granted, but it was discovered after his death that Savile had used his seedier connections to gather blackmail on Broadmoor's staff, which he used to get them to support his ideas. To further distract from his own crimes, Savile even started accusing nurses of committing fraud through fake overtime claims, and even told people that there was a hidden IRA terrorist cell operating out of Broadmoor. Now, none of these claims were true, but they did wonders at keeping the criminal focus off of Jimmy Savile at Broadmoor Psychiatric Institute. It's all you got to do is just accuse someone of fraud, say there are terrorists out there somewhere, go look for them. It works on many levels and for many different people at any time in history.
And it does seem to be working extremely well right now.
Yes.
Especially when you let a villain be in charge of everything.
Yes.
It just seems that they then can do all this very easily.
Mm-hmm. But to truly show you how much control and influence Jimmy Savile had over Broadmoor, Savile basically handpicked the new general manager of the institution during his so-called reform. Savile recommended his good friend of 20 years, Alan Franey, who had no experience whatsoever working at an institution like Broadmoor, a fucking high-security psychiatric facility.
Yes.
But because the establishment listened to Savile, and because it's apparently a long-standing feature of conservative governments to give important jobs to people with absolutely no experience, Franey held the manager position at Broadmoor for 8 years. That meant that for 8 years, Jimmy Savile had total, unrestricted access to all the patients and prisoners at Broadmoor, while Franey himself had something around 50 so-called affairs on the grounds.
Yeah, they just made it an entire operation, huh?
No,
Yeah.
they made it where it was, it was just for
perfect
themselves.
environment for themselves.
It was a literal fuck prison.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, with almost total control over the facility, Savile began parking his caravan at the main gate, where he would stand wearing swim trunks, a gold chain, and sunglasses. He was there to welcome visitors because, as if he didn't have enough choice with just the patients and the prisoners at Broadmoor, he would try to entice youngsters visiting relatives at Broadmoor into his caravan, away from the watchful eye of their parents. Because it's insatiable.
It's literally his entire life.
He
is rape.
doesn't like anything else. I'm
But rape.
surprised he eats food.
Yeah.
Like
literally.
he doesn't like watch television probably. He
Yeah.
doesn't like go to the movies, like it's
This is the reason why
all
we're
rape.
But it's literally why we're doing this series, is to really constantly remind people how unique this scenario was. Like it wasn't, right? Now we know it really wasn't, but it's a unique thing that's like a modern thing that now we're really dealing with.
It was truly the only thing he did. It was like literally like I was like if Jim Henson didn't make puppets and he only raped.
Honestly, the Muppet Show be way different. Way different. Especially with all those little kids on his hands.
But nothing happened. happened.
No.
You're right.
Nothing happened with
No,
Jim Henson.
Jim
Jim
Henson.
Henson,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
but on Sesame Street.
But he was not. But he was a cold father. But he didn't molest anybody.
Yeah,
No. It wasn't. He was absent.
Absent.
Sure. Well, by 1988, Jimmy Savile had fully integrated himself into the system. And since he had so many powerful allies in all the right places, regular people caught in the middle truly felt that there was nothing they could do to stop him. And if you're asking why people didn't just come out and tell the press about Savile's crimes, if you're calling the entire nation of England a bunch of cowards who were too scared to do the right thing, there's actually a pretty good example from 1987 that will show you why it was so difficult for people to come forward and why it was so difficult for the press to report on anything. See, just before Savile took over Broadmoor, he was very nearly taken down the same way that Bill Cosby fell from grace at the hands of a comedian. So you'd sort of forgotten that the whole reason why Bill Cosby's crimes came to light is because one of the guys from our old scene in New York, Hannibal Buress, he had a Bill Cosby bit in his set that went viral. It was like 2014 or something?
Oh, yeah.
Remember, it was fucking insane when that happened.
But that's also one of those things where I did not know, as a Bill Cosby, somebody that meant a lot to me, I did not know about these accusations. I had no fucking idea. And what Hannibal was saying is that this was such a pervasive knowledge throughout the African American community that then when he finally pulled it off the top, everyone went, what?
Yeah.
Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, because there were multiple articles about it, just none of us ever saw them.
It didn't all go together. It all didn't come together in my brain because I had created a special place in my mind for Bill Cosby.
Yeah. And from that one clip of Hannibal that wasn't it it was taken from the audience, like him doing like an auditorium show or something.
He was just riffing.
Yeah, it was like really one of the first viral things.
Yeah.
He was just riffing.
Yeah, and from that, Bill Cosby's entire world fell apart. And likewise, Jimmy Savile came very close to getting Hannibaled by a stand-up comedian named Jerry Sadowitz, who recorded a special in 1987 in which he said that Savile only does charity work to gain sympathy for when his pedophile case comes up. That special, however, was never released, and it was only spiked out of fear that Jimmy Savile would sue for libel. And this, of course, is the same reason why newspapers declined to print stories about Savile for years on end. Because if a middling comedian can't even make a joke about Jimmy Savile, then a paper certainly can't report his crimes as truth. Because Savile also had a team of lawyers who issued letters threatening lawsuits against any newspaper that might print a story that had even a hint of an accusation that might harm Jimmy's reputation. And those letters certainly prevented more than one story from being published throughout the decades.
Yeah, because it makes sense. You fucking throw people out this, people are going to withdraw their claims. They don't want to go through the rigmarole of being dragged through the mud through multiple court cases, lots of articles. All of a sudden, you're a celebrity because you got raped by one.
Yeah. No, it's fucking horrible. Now, another big question mark here is Prince Andrew, who, as we all know, was so well connected to Jeffrey Epstein that the royal family excommunicated Andrew for the relationship. But before there was Epstein, Prince Andrew's best pedophile friend was Jimmy Savile.
Prince Andrew really had a type.
Yeah, he did.
He really, really had a type because he really was they all knew. Everybody knew that Prince Andrew was a rapist as well.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least he loved prostitutes.
Sure. Well, Prince Andrew actually participated in an episode of Jim'll Fix It, in which an 8-year-old boy asked to visit a warship. Prince Andrew readily pitched in, and he hosted the child aboard the minehunter HMS Cottesmore. So that's 4 known pedophiles, including Jimmy Savile, on Jim'll Fix It, as far as I know.
Hey, but there was only one guy regularly on the show. All right, those guys were guest stars.
Now, interestingly, there aren't any stories that I could find of Jimmy Savile and Prince Andrew engaging in sexual crimes together. But Jimmy Savile was absolutely one of Prince Andrew's most trusted advisors. When Prince Andrew fucked up and said a bunch of really insensitive shit about the Lockerbie bombing,
oh, yeah,
Jimmy Savile was the one who told him, here's how you fix it. Here's how you make it better. And by 1990, Savile's connections to the royals finally gained him a full knighthood. He was now Sir Jimmy Savile. But when he was asked why it took him so long to be knighted, he said it was because he, quote, unsettled the establishment, even though Jimmy Savile had been a part of the establishment since at least the 1970s, maybe the 1960s.
He is the establishment.
Yes.
I just casually looked for Savile in the Epstein files, and there's a bunch of it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why we didn't do this earlier. I'm sorry for derailing us.
Yeah, of course, though. But
It's fine. I'm sure he shows up quite a bit. It's just, there's a lot of side quests that I had to.
Yeah,
many side quests.
I'm not blaming you. It's just like, of course.
But it's also important to understand that this is so. What we're seeing here is an effect. We're seeing like stuff like this. Jimmy Savile, because it was his sole purpose in life to rape people, he put himself into every single sphere of importance that he could get himself into.
And the knighthood was very much a part of that.
Oh, that was the whole thing, is that he knew in his mind the knighthood fixed it all.
Well, he would use it as proof that the allegations about sexual abuse and assault, they had to be made up. You know, his knighthood proved that beyond a doubt. Why would they knight me if I was a sexual abuser, if I was a rapist? Stop asking.
Yeah, you think they wouldn't look into it?
Yeah, exactly.
The royal family, of course, that bastion of justice, where nobody has a chin and all their eyeballs are right next to each other.
But after knighthood, Jimmy Savile sort of faded into the background of British culture. Reporters continued confronting him with the pedophile rumors in every interview he did. Hell, even Louis Theroux asked him directly about it. Jimmy Savile began deflecting by saying you just couldn't be nice in this world anymore without someone accusing you of being a monster. This is what you get for being nice to people.
But the knighthood actually, in my mind, gave him permission to pull back. I think that's the reason when he got the knighthood, he realized I don't have to be this ever. I can just go back to just kind of raping and doing the things I want to do on my own. I don't have to now do full court press because now the knighthood does that for me.
Yeah. Savile, however, did make a few appearances here and there on British television in the last years of his life. In 2006, he made a cameo on Celebrity Big Brother, but actually ended up acting quite shy because everyone else was more important and famous than he was. Weirdly, Dennis Rodman was on that season.
It takes a lot to be the least weirdest person in the room. When Dennis Rodman, Dennis Rodman, you're weirder than Dennis Rodman.
Yeah. And that's a challenge.
That's a challenge. Dennis Rodman should have beat the fucking shit out of him. How much money would how much money I would have paid to watch Dennis Rodman beat the fuck out of Jimmy Savile.
Yeah. Or at least just like...
in a dress. They put a fucking wedding dress on him and
block him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah. But as the years went by, that shyness became Savile's MO because Jimmy Savile would act like a lost dog if people weren't constantly acknowledging his fame and his reputation. For example, when he went away for weeks on an American cruise ship during his twilight years, he was unsettled because the ship was full of Americans, and Americans have no fucking clue who Jimmy Savile is.
Yeah, and I imagine most Americans, if we saw you walking around, would be like, get away from me. Like literally, like, who the fuck are you? You're gross and weird.
Yeah. It'd be like, oh, that guy's on his way to the casino.
Yeah, that's a creepy motherfucker.
Yeah. So Savile had his secretary call him on the cruise ship every day he was out to sea, simply so she could affirm to him that he was indeed a special boy, even if the Americans had no idea that there was a British legend in their midst. Now, Savile was quite long in the tooth when the new millennium hit, but that didn't stop him from being monstrous. When Savile was brought in to co-host the last episode of Top of the Pops in 2006, when he was nearly 80 years old, he still managed to sexually assault a teenage girl in the studio audience.
This is in his fucking late, this is 79 years old.
Yeah.
He's still fucking he's still this.
I mean, I could see him doing it for old time's sake.
Oh yeah, just because I'm in office.
Yeah, I'm in top of the Pops. That's what I used to do.
Also, it's probably easier for him to get away with it as an old man because people like find dirty old men charming sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. And at this point, him being an old man, some say is why the investigations at the end of his life didn't actually go through because it's like, he's too old.
He's going to die.
He's going to die. We're like, we don't want to, he's too old to prosecute.
Let's not unsettle everything. If we unsettle everything now, he's gonna be dead soon.
We still hunt Nazis.
Yeah.
Oh, as we should.
No, we should. He should have gone to jail.
If there's a single Nazi left alive, I don't care if there are 102. String them the fuck.
Cut their feet off.
Cut their face off. Shoot them in the head. Could not give a fuck.
Well, when Savile started popping up on TV again in the mid-2000s, women who had been raped or assaulted by Savile began speaking out, and the loudest voices were coming from women who had done time at Duncroft-approved school for girls in their youth. But even though Jimmy Savile was in his 80s when this started happening, he still never let down the guard that had kept him protected all those years. In Surrey, a police investigation called Operation Ornament was opened following Savile's appearance on Celebrity Big Brother. But even though several rape allegations were collected, the investigation stopped when it was discovered that at least 4 Surrey police officers were personal friends with Jimmy Savile. Those cops attended weekly social meetings at Savile's apartment, meetings known as the Friday Morning Breakfast Club. For 4 decades, serving and retired police officers would come to Savile's penthouse to be charmed, befriended, or compromised, all for the purpose of keeping them on Jimmy Savile's side when he needed protection, which was often.
No, I this is really where we see what that's when people say the words pedophile cabal or like
network,
people network, all this kind of stuff. Like, on one hand, I think that's the problem is that on our minds we see like evil villains, like guys like literally like looking evil in some castle, or like you think it's like a real like some evil villain's like lair or whatever. This is a pedophile network.
Yeah, it's a guy's apartment.
It's just going to a guy's apartment where they all share the tips of the trade. They all are constantly getting each other in trouble. We are seeing, and we see it again and again and again and again, because they have to work and they have to operate in groups.
Yeah, and you also see with stuff like this, is they also bring in people who ostensibly didn't want to be there in the first place, or didn't want to be a part of it. But all of a sudden, they start hanging around with these people. You start hanging around with the wrong fucking crowd, and suddenly you're going to find yourself in a very compromising position.
You're fucking implicated, man. Rico.
Yeah. Now, it wasn't until 2009 that Jimmy Savile was actually contacted by the cops to come in for questioning, but Savile refused to come in. He said that he had a West Yorkshire police inspector who, quote, usually deals with this sort of thing. And if the cops wanted answers, they should call that police inspector. Now, incredibly, this inspector fully admitted that Jimmy Savile was a close personal friend. Said, oh, yeah, Jimmy gets complaints like this all the time, has for years. Wouldn't worry about it.
It's just like, but he
gets it all the time.
He gets it all the time.
Yeah,
and it's just like, but then like
that means worry about
you
it.
should worry about it. It's like the opposite. It should be like, this is the only time I've heard of this. I will go
and
into
that person's crazy. It's one time off. No, it's 100. It's more.
And if more and more people don't, like I just if
it's 2.
This was
also
enough. This would come down to where the problems with where people would come at Operation U-Tree later on, because this idea of just believing victims is something that they're just not ready for.
Yeah. And so a report was made and buried, marked confidential. So no other department in the UK was made aware of what had transpired with Operation Ornament. Now, the only time that Jimmy was ever put in the box, so to speak, was when police interviewed him in October of 2009 in the friendliest yet creepiest possible location. To ask him about his alleged sexual assaults, they met at Jimmy's private office at Stoke Mandeville Hospital, where Jimmy committed a large portion of his crimes.
So they were like sitting on his jizz, asking him if he fucking jizzed there.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, in an interview that lasted just a hair under an hour, Savile led the questions and barked denials anytime he was asked something directly. I mean, the audio from this it's chilling, because they ask him a question, you just go, out of the question! And he would just yell over and over again. He's like, no, never, not at all, never did that. And he would get mad at them. And you can see the cops get cowed.
They do.
And again, this was good enough for the investigators, who closed the investigation after the interview. As author Dan Davies recognized, this was a pattern that went all the way back to the 1950s. Accusations of rape would be made against Jimmy Savile, but police investigations every single time, for one reason or another, would stall out before charges could be made. And Jimmy Savile kept that game going until the day he died.
It's just so crazy when it's like you look at guys like Savile and you're like, it's so obvious, right?
Yeah.
But then, you look at like, it's like Trump. It's so obvious, but it's like, how do they keep getting away with it?
Because
Why is
it's so obvious.
There's certain people where it's just like crimes just can't stick to them.
Because our human society depends on certain social mores that holds it all together. There is a part of this is that we are supposed to experience shame, right? We're supposed to experience regret. We're supposed to experience these things that are supposed to, like, the hesitancy to do these crimes. Most of our justice systems are based upon, more like etiquette. Like most of it's based on stuff like that. So when you get and because these crimes are so difficult to prosecute, because number one, it's like most courts deeply depend on evidence, right? In terms of actual evidence, it's not just the what you consider witness testimony, all that kind of stuff. It's like they want a picture of Jimmy Savile in mid-rape with the newspaper there, with the date. That's the thing. That's what they're looking for, these smoking guns.
It's so crazy because any other case other than rape, like witness testimony, means something.
And that's because there's so much rape that if we were to always go at every single case that required it, we would never stop prosecuting it. And I think that that's part of what we're... It's a
fucking nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's an absolute nightmare. And the other thing about it is that like people like Savile, people like Trump, they're connected. And those connections...
And they fight.
Get them out of situations all the time because a lot of us, I think, operate on this principle that there is justice in this world and that we have these systems in place to keep bad things from happening, or at least to punish bad people when they do bad things. But those people that are in charge of those systems have to get the wheels moving. And they can just say no. Like, that's the thing. The people who prosecute, the people who arrest, they can just say no. I don't feel like it. And therefore, that person will never go to trial. They will never get prosecuted just because the wheels never move. And so, because Jimmy Savile had figured out the system to a T, he died quietly in his sleep of pneumonia on October 29th, 2011, at 84 years old. He was found lying in his bed with his fingers crossed and a smile on his face, satisfied that he had lived a life of evil indulgence without consequence. But once Jimmy Savile was finally dead, the libel suits were no longer a problem. The victims' voices grew louder, and a police investigation called Operation U-Tree was finally launched by Scotland Yard, even though it took an entire year after Savile's death
to go after a dead man.
Yeah, to finally get it going. On the first day of investigation, 24 people reported crimes against Jimmy Savile, and by the end of it, police had 600 lines of investigation open, with a final estimate of 589 reported assaults. This, of course, is an incredibly low number, considering how Savile was active as an opportunistic predator for almost 60 years. The real number is probably double, if not triple, what was reported to the Operation U-Tree officers. Maybe even more than that.
Oh, yeah.
Before long, Jimmy Savile's massive headstone, his headstone was, he had a last fuck you to everyone he ever hurt. His headstone read, "It was good while it lasted."
And it was like something like several meters long, and it had quotes from the royalty and his friends, and it had all the numbers of the money he gave. It was this massive fucking like monument to him.
Yep. Torn down in the middle of the night and fucking thrown in a landfill. And Savile's oversized presence was totally wiped from buildings, monuments, and parks across the United Kingdom. It's incredible how many buildings had his name on it.
They should put that fucking thing in the British Museum.
Yeah.
Exactly. And here's a little thing we made ourselves. Normally we steal things from Africa, but every once in a while we do bad things here.
But in the end, very little accountability came to all of the people complicit in Jimmy Savile's crimes. Nobody at the BBC went down for allowing Savile to use their studios and their reputation as traps for victims. People from the BBC went down for other things.
Yeah, for Operation U-Tree, there was a couple of guys that went down for, like, there was There was one anchor that went down. Max Clifford went down. He was a publicist. The guy named David Patrick Griffin, that was another guy. And Gary Glitter was like the one that was caught by U-Tree.
Well, Gary Glitter was also, I mean,
he was in prison for a while.
He'd been on the run for a long time.
Yes.
Because the reason why Gary Glitter got caught is because he dropped off a laptop at a repair shop and it was full of child pornography.
Yes, but that's like considered to be the big get. And the guy they got later on was a guy by the name of Ray
Charles.
A guy by the name of Ray Terrett was a guy that got arrested that ended up being what they considered like sort of like the proxy Jimmy Savile, because he came up with him and he was his chauffeur during the 1960s, and they got him in November 2012 and they got him on, I believe, 7 counts, and then he died in prison. So Ray Terrett's like the one that they view as like, that's the one we got instead.
Cool.
Great.
Well, nobody at the NHS went down for allowing Jimmy Savile to run rampant across their facilities. Nobody in the police went down for continually killing any investigation into Jimmy Savile's crimes. But while many people either reluctantly assisted Jimmy Savile in his crimes or readily participated, it was Savile himself who played the grotesque spider sitting at the center of this web. See, if this series shows anything, it's that Savile was a genius at knowing and seeing how systems worked. In my opinion, understanding systems is one of the skills that can enable a person to commit evil on a truly massive scale like Jimmy Savile did. I mean, I actually, the person that Jimmy Savile is really similar to actually is Keith Raniere.
Oh, sure.
They understand systems and they understand people and they understand how to work them to their advantage.
But also, don't give him that much credit. Keith Raniere is still a fucking bitch. You ripped up Scientology. You know
very,
what I mean?
very low. No,
he's a low.
Super low on
Jimmy
the list.
Savile eats his fucking lunch. You know what I mean? In terms of evil guys.
Very much so. Very much so. But
I think Jimmy Savile would have we're gonna do March Madness. Jimmy Savile would beat Keith Raniere to death.
Oh, easily. No, Keith Raniere is a very low-level piece of shit.
But yes.
But it's the similar line of thinking. It's just understanding systems, and you can really that's the thing, is that the people that understand systems the best almost never use that power to make those systems better. They almost always use their knowledge of those systems to commit evil, to enrich themselves. And one by one, Savile figured out how to manipulate all the important systems of 20th century England. He started in the black markets of Leeds. He started in the organized crime system. And Savile eventually got to the point where he was pulling the strings of the prime minister and the royal family, all in service to feeding the gaping hole of evil within his own soul. He destroyed countless lives with his crimes, but he psychologically damaged even more with the way in which he did it, by using systems. Savile irreparably damaged the trust that people have in the systems that are supposed to protect us and are supposed to make our lives a little bit easier. People like Jimmy Savile only serve to prevent the evolution of humanity as a species that can work together for the greater good. And while I would love to say that people like Savile are part of the past, it seems like there's more people like Jimmy Savile out there than ever, or at least we're far more aware of people like Jimmy Savile.
Do you see that there's another person that is accusing RFK Jr. of killing a woman?
No.
There's been 4 of those now.
Wow.
Yep.
Holy shit. What does RFK Jr. think about that?
There's a lot, and we're going to have to go into a lot of the evidence here and just really talk about, does a woman really want to be around me?
Yeah. So you're telling me a man who's related to the Skakel family might have done something?
I know, buddy. I know.
But now that we know who these people are and what they're able to do, it is up to us to figure out how to rebuild these systems or choose people who can. I'm just going to go ahead and say that if someone already has multiple allegations of sexual assault and pedophilia, they're probably not the right person for the job of reform. So let's hope that sometime in the very near future, perhaps even in our own lifetime, let's hope that the world will not be run by people who are so easily compared to the second head on our Mount Rushmore of evil, Sir James Wilson Vincent Savile.
Goodbye, fucker.
Bye, fucker. I can't wait to blow this mountain up at the end of this entire series.
Yeah.
But really, I'm glad to not talk about this man anymore for a while. I also have learned quite a bit, and it's weirdly helping me. It's helping me. Like there is between this and the Epstein stuff. Yes, it's dark and it's bad, and it's all of this is. It feels bad.
Yeah.
It hurts, but it's like a good hurt. Yeah. I'm starting to understand of like how I want to live my life.
Sure.
That's a part of what all of this makes me go back to is thinking about my life, how I can expand and grow versus contract, knowing that contraction is what makes you do bad things. Mm-hmm. When you expand.
And what allows bad things to happen.
Yes. Yeah. And when you expand and open your heart and allow progressive things in and you do this up, you defeat this evil inside of yourself.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
not talking about this shit, not listening to shit like this, that's what keeps it all secret.
Yes, I think that's the issue now is that when people were saying, oh, this is icky, you don't want to talk about this, unfortunately, it's the subject of the day, and we need to get fucking balls deep in it, not to use a term, because we got to understand it. We got to figure out what the fuck we're doing about it.
Yeah, because we can't stop it until we understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't prevent it until we understand it.
We have to see the stuff before it gets too bad.
Exactly. We have to see it coming. And that's we always have to see it coming. Be on the lookout. I mean, don't live your life in paranoia and thinking that everybody is a pedophile. That's also another negative way to live your life.
But if somebody's telling you they're a pedophile, believe them.
Listen.
Listen. If their actions
Didn't Maya Angelou say that? If someone's telling you're a pedophile, believe them.
Yeah. Also believe
the cherry
victims.
pop, the wonderful. I love the fruity pebbles.
Remember that?
I remember that.
David Allen Greer.
Well, yeah, we can end it on a David Allen Greer reference.
Thank you. Dag, this one's for you. Patreon.com/last podcast on the left. You can go and see listen to our episodes ad-free. You can also see Last Stream on the Left live every Tuesday, 5 p.m. PST. Once a month, we do our after hours where we take videos sent by the Patreon subscribers and we judge them for you. But you can get that all by joining our Patreon.
Yes, indeed. And don't forget to follow us over on the socials at LP on the Left. And check out all of our YouTube channels over at the LPN TV YouTube channel. And
Also,
we got some good No Dogs in Space coming up, stuff coming up very soon.
No Dogs, Hoopagoos coming back April 16th. And it's going to be
HGX2.
It's coming fucking back. Can't
Sponsored
wait.
by Raytheon Technologies.
That's right. And everyone's in this. We got the whole network in it. We got a lot of guest stars. It's going to be, I think it's one of the coolest, like visually coolest things we've ever put together.
It's fucking awesome. And then also check out on LPN TV Bloodbath, our Vampire and the Masquerade playthrough, because we're about to start shooting season 2.
That's right.
You can check out Bloodbath 77. It's going to be really fun. And then for just know next week, we're coming back. We're doing true crime.
That's right.
We got some true crimes. But you just know that in the next Mount Rushmore fucking head, it's not that far off.
It's really not.
You
It's
know?
really not. Probably, I would say end of summer.
Yeah, so we'll be coming back again to this horrific series with another fucker.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God. I can't wait.
You can't wait for this next one.
You're really gonna
It's not
enjoy
like
it?
it's not like we're 2 for 2 on these Mount Rushmore setting me into depression.
Yeah.
The next one won't. It's not gonna fucking make you super happy.
Yeah. No, this one I did. There was definitely a point yesterday when I was just staring out the window, just going, "Oh God." Okay, just finish it. You can finish it. You can finish it. It's good. It's good work. It's good work.
You're getting here.
Well, if you're looking to be cheered up next week, you can see us in Cincinnati, Ohio at the Taft Theater. That's going to be April 25th. May 29th, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. June 27th, Grand Rapids, Michigan. July 17th, Tulsa, Oklahoma. July 18th, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. That's right. And if you want to come see me on the road, just go check out eddytunes.com for all my shows.
And remember, these are the last shows of the JK Ultra Tour. The last few times we're going to be doing this show. So if you want to see it, or if you want to see it again, come out and see us.
I actually saw a tweet that said that Tulsa is like Portland if it was incredibly poor. And I wonder if that's true or not.
That's weird.
It was a tweet I saw.
Tweet you saw, huh?
But I don't know if that's true, but I can't wait to go.
Tulsa's got a downtown.
Never been there.
Stallone goes there. It can't be that poor.
You're right.
Yeah. And Martin Starr.
Oh,
Yes.
I miss him. Hail, sweet Satan, everyone.
How Geen.
Hail, LD! Yeah.
Larry David?
It's for tune in to HGX2 to find out who LD is.
Yep, that's right.
Good tease. Good tease.
Bye, fuckers.
What happens when the person you trust most betrays you? Shohei and Ippei were one of the most famous bromances in professional sports. They were seen together nearly all the time, labeled best friends, until it all fell apart. It's a story you might have heard about, but turns out what was reported in the news was just the beginning.
I'm Ippei Mizuhara, and you do have permission to record me.
Listen to 30 for 30 podcast to hear the betrayal of Shohei Ohtani.
This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Whether you're just starting out or scaling your business, Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform designed to help your business stand out and succeed online. Squarespace gives you everything you need to offer services and get paid, all in one place. From consultations to events and experiences, showcase your offerings with a customizable website designed to attract clients and grow your business. The best part about it is it can help you design a funnel in which you can very quickly record commercials so that you can get it done while you are desperately trying to get on break. That's the best part about Squarespace. It can really shorten up the time you spend doing things. You got to get in there. Use Squarespace. Man, is it fast. It is absolutely incredible. You're going to love your experience at Squarespace. Head to squarespace.com/left for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code LEFT to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.